Never trust the promises of a woman.
Oh, that's not. I mean, did she say anything about promise? I don't think so. I don't think she promised
Look,
anything.
she is on the chat now. That's already too much.
All right, well, let's get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Smudcast number 732, BERSERK Rant. Okay, how not to write a story. Some European chick. I hate it when these people put their names, like their YouTube channel name, into the title. There's no reason to do that. But anyway, some European chick, a.k.a. a female, is going to tell us how a thing designed for males is not for males, or is bad writing for male, or whatever she's going to say.
Universally, it's bad writing.
I guess, in general, for the past 20 years, everyone was fooled that, oh my God, guys, what are you doing? You don't know what you're liking. This is horrible. So apparently she's going to teach us off the cuff, not prepared, not like she has like notes and she wrote a book and had a dissertation and took years to analyze and research. No, I did that with my book, but she did it in about 13 minutes. I'm sure she's fine. Great idea.
She's gonna be good. Actually, she's gonna mention an anime called Dorohedoro. Do you know that one?
Hedoro, no.
Yes, as a superior one.
I think I'm familiar with the name. I want to know from what country she is, because I judge people based on their countries.
Austrian.
She's Austrian?
That's already not...
She's Austrian, yeah.
Oh no.
That's already really bad.
Maybe she's like high on donuts or something. Maybe she's like scarfing down bread and like butter. Like, oh.
Donuts.
Schluchtenscheiße.
Yeah, there's all kinds of baked goods in Austria. I'm sure she'll...
Well, now I need to make the caveat that this is a joke. I don't actually hate any Austrian people.
Why wouldn't you? Not a single one in all of.
How can you say that about Ken? Come on.
Look, the Austrian painter became German, so that's why I can say that I don't hate any Austrian.
All right.
I don't know what you're talking about, but why wouldn't you hate Arnold Schwarzenegger?
He's a landmark to some. Was the word I'm trying to look for?
I think that was the correct word.
The correct word? All right, fair enough. Anyway, let's get going. This thing is, 17 and a half minutes. I don't know what the hell she has to say in 5, but 17, okay. And this was published 2 months ago. So that means she's up to date on pretty much, because there hasn't been a post in a few months at least about the updates on Berserk comics. So I don't know what they're doing with it. I don't know where it's going. I know it's going to end soon. I just don't know when. So
I think like a new chapter was released like maybe 1.5 weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
November 8th. November 8th it was released.
Yeah.
So I have to catch up.
Gotta check it out.
How's it is?
Yeah.
I remember reading the first chapter from the author post, the Miura.
Fair enough.
I remember reading.
All right. Good stuff. We'll check it out, guys. Anyway, let's get started so we're not wasting more time and listening to this person about her opinions on why Berserk is not how to write a story.
Love it. And usually authors who are like, oh, I'm just going to let my characters do whatever and see what happens. Usually that doesn't go well because...
That's exactly what you do. You write your characters. You know exactly what they are as characters. And then you go, oh, this is exactly what this character would do when you run them into the wild, or you run them into this scenario, or run them into that scenario. That's what you expect to happen in writing. You cannot micromanage every single piece of detail in advance. It's not.
I already liked that we barely start the video and we already pause it.
Yeah, this is like, oh, you have to plan everything in advance. Well, you plan the big things in advance, like the middle part of the story in general, but not...
Yeah, the main story beats. The rest is requires an ability to role play every character.
Character moments, they have to breathe, they have to do their own thing, they have to make mistakes. They're not always going to be cool sounding, they have to have faults. This is normal. So yes, you let them bounce around in a pinball machine and see what happens.
In hindsight, like a lot of decisions that Miura made at the beginning of the comic book was just unnecessary or like against the character. Like the sex scene in the very first chapter
Yeah.
was maybe off character for Guts to do, but otherwise, like you can't really do that. Like it's very easy for these people to like say that, oh, it doesn't make any sense to make
Yeah,
those decisions.
We always say this.
The first chapter more like a pilot.
Yes.
Oh, it's even as
the
like
whole story
I've
was actually there, but I understood it more like a pilot, and that doesn't mean that it turns out that you use all of that. While it is sad that there is a little bit of discrepancy there, it mainly still holds.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of bizarre manga out there, and mostly manga. Obviously, they fixed the titles for the anime, but the titles are so obscure, or even the non-obscure ones, like Isekai Walking, right? It's a story about a guy who gains experience walking in an isekai land, right? But it's no longer about that. Yeah, he does have that skill, but that's like maybe 1/20th of the story. And there's like huge obscure titles like let me always find it. Chronicles of the Jobless Hero, ousted from the Duke's Manor, but with skills gained through punches, I emerge as the continent's ultimate hero. Like, that's a title. It sounds ridiculous. And as you read that, yes, he touches people and gains their skills. He doesn't have to punch them. So the title is irrelevant. Like, this happens all the time in manga, but even in like the first season of Star Trek: The Next Generation, they were prototyping everything. The chairs on the bridge were off and they looked silly. It looked like they were reclining in a bed. Like, there was all kinds of silly things they were doing. So the first iteration, the first season, the first few comics, they're going to be a bit goofy and off. That's normal.
I came to the conclusion that mangakas don't know how to name their books or stories.
It's
I
mean,
fun. Berserk is pretty fitting for this book, man.
I mean, Miura knows. He knows how to title his own story. The rest don't.
This trend of summarizing your story in the title this elaborately is a relatively recent thing, is it not?
Yes, because they need to take the attention of the potential customer.
Well, it's because it's written in Japanese kanji, and you see it presented on a manga book. It looks a lot tighter. It looks a lot more condensed. Sometimes it blasts across the cover like a 45, but it sounds, and people read that and go, okay, I understand what's going on. And then you realize this is silly. Like, this is obviously started as a joke, but people liked it and bought it, so they kept going with it. Like, the one that I like is called Release That Witch. And that's the first chapter of a story where this guy gets isekai into a world where he's an engineer. Yeah, Release That Witch, because he wanted to save the witch's life because they were going to kill her, and he saves her and protects her, and he finds out there's all these women in the world called witches, and they're basically mutants. They have superpowers. So the whole story has nothing to do with releasing witches. It's pretty much, let's revolutionize the world into the modern age, because he's an engineer and he knows everything about mechanical and electrical engineering. So he's reinventing like gunpowder and how bathrooms work and just everything about metallurgy. It's really great. So if you like science, it's a great story, but Releasing That Witch has nothing to do with engineering or civil engineering.
We have
releasing witches.
Yeah, there's nothing to do.
We have a weird fascination with bringing the industrial age to medieval Asian ancient-times.
It's funny because these guys are fighting with clubs, and all of a sudden this guy pulls out a cannon and
like a rifle.
He just blows him away. Like, okay.
He brings
what happened.
Yeah, it happened in Africa.
It's
guys
that
goes with spears and then the rifles.
I think it's the fascination of technology.
Medieval.
That there's a power fantasy somewhere in there, but it's about, wow, these guys prepared, knew how the world worked, had drills, generated militia, figured out how to refine iron and make iron, copper casings to put the bullets into. Like, they did all this. Guy figured this all out. He wasn't a gunsmith. He just understood the mechanics of gunpowder, how to make it. Anyway,
I am of the opinion that if you have a industrial society in a fantasy world, this society will basically conquer the world. I don't think magic can destroy a man with a rifle.
It is
But
nice.
Brazil exists, yet it doesn't even
Oh.
in the top 8 superpowers. Come on.
Yeah.
What is Brazil if not magic?
Well, but we lost 2 people with gunpowder, so there we go.
All right, let's get going. Here is some super chats and some donations. So we're going to start the video again. Nuck Figures, thank you, Nuck Figures. My real name is Simon Leonard Avery. When I write books, I use the pseudonym S.I. Avery. Anyway, I know it sounds bar, but when women make berserk videos, my bullshit alarm starts ringing before the video starts. The fairer sex seems bought to get berserk. I wish I knew exactly what you were saying, but I think you misspelled some words there.
You need another super chat, then we will know.
Guys, have you noticed that most of the weebcast we do, it's only women we cover?
Unfortunately.
Hey,
Because
There's
they have
no
bad
bias here.
opinions.
don't you dare call those trans people women.
They-
Matthias.
No, I'm not calling.
Are you saying she's not casting well?
We blacklisted a guy who wants to be a girl. So that was, we're equal opportunity banners. We don't care who you are.
We ban everyone.
We ban everyone, yeah.
No, it was too boring. Like, he couldn't get to the point. So I was like, yeah, let's not cover this guy.
All right. There's one more.
Halloween is already over.
Oh, here's one from Vladimir Dragunov. Thank you for the 10. Also, the reason I was gone for a bit was not because I got locked in a gulag again, but it was once I got to Alaska, I found the hard way that Wendigos are real. I'm currently being hunted by one. Okay.
Yeah, keep going. I like this story.
Yeah, this is gonna keep...
He's now in Alaska.
Yeah.
He's coming.
All
he's
hail
coming
Joe
to the
Biden.
West.
Okay. One more from the Copperell, then we get going.
No. Before you read the Copperell's super chat, the Wendigos are from Joe Biden. He's trying to hunt Vladimir. That's why he's being hunted.
Okay. That's
We down the free.
Over to Russia by Siberia.
Yeah, he's not in Siberia now. He's in Alaska.
Ah,
Being hunted by Wendigos.
they crossed over the Bering Bridge.
all right. Here we go. Copperell. Oh God, all the Pederu? Go back.
Padoru.
Well, he wrote Paderu. Aderu.
Yes, I know.
Okay, go back to get pumped. Anyway.
I still have the pumped avatars if you guys want it.
Oh dear. Anyway, thank you so much for that. We're going to continue. Here we go.
Is while they write, they're thinking like, oh, now I know what I want my story to be about, and now I'm gonna send it into this direction, even though that new direction is completely different from the initial promise that the writer gave you with the premises and so on. So it can go wrong pretty easily. But if you have your premise, you have your mystery, and you plan on unveiling the mystery, like you have the bare minimum of a structure of the skeleton of your story, even if it's just one bone that you have.
If you have a skeleton, that means you planned something out, lady. It's not a mystery.
I mean, like, so far she has been going on has been easily applicable to Berserk, because like they are trying to reveal like the secret. That's why we went back to the past through the Golden Age arc, and they returned to the very promise that it's a dark fantasy story. So I'm really waiting for like the point when she's gonna bash Berserk of why it's terribly run.
Yeah, I don't know what is her point, because, like you said, this can be applied to Berserk.
Okay.
And you let the characters do the magic then, but you still, keep it about that mystery, that initial reason why you
the plot
started the story. Then I think that's peak writing.
How? Why? What's your grading scale?
Wait. What was her argument?
you allow the characters to do whatever they want, but you keep the premise the same throughout. That's peak writing. I'm like, that's not writing. That's just a plan. I'm going to do this. It's like, okay, good, do it.
That's just not going off the rails. Congratulations.
Give me
You're
an
still
example.
going to the mountain of doom.
Yeah, what difference is it? Every story? Well, the writer had a good idea, and then
That's just basic writing.
this is the peak.
The whole arc with the slug count is giving away everything that Berserk is at the core about, which is Guts goes around and hacks demons to pieces, and he's haunted by this weird Shoggoth creature dream thing. No, that you don't spoil.
The Black Swordsman is just the setup. The real story begins with the Golden Age.
Yeah, having
basically who is he? Who is this character when he's grown up? Because that's the part that he does when he leaves the cave later on. It's basically, you could, if you want it chronologically, you just take that arc and put it in into where he first leaves Casca in the cave and goes out and to hack demons.
Yeah. That is a reason why most anime is on the Golden Age, because the Golden Age, it's when Berserk begins to be something greater than itself.
All right. Well, I don't like her way of explaining peak writing by an idea for writing, as opposed to giving an example of a good writer doing a good technique in writing, like a plot reveal or a mystery that adds to another mystery. So you have a reveal that makes things more complex. Like when you have that in a murder mystery, you realize, oh, there was an accomplice, but that could be another person. Who? Then you have to figure out the relationship between the person you think it is and the other person that it is. So there's all kinds of great things in writing that are genius, brilliant, but not the vision that you have a plot with a goal and then characters that do whatever they want. That's like normal. So
Let that sink in. Her idea of peak writing is just basic writing.
Yeah, it's like saying, I'm going to bake some bread. I'm going to make some dough to make some bread, and I'll put some random ingredients in there and we'll figure it out later. Like, that's peak bread making. Like, okay, I guess. You're just making bread the normal way. Anyway.
A gardener, well, when we talked about gardeners and architects, that's peak gardener thing, like doing it right. Doing gardening right in fiction. So I'm never sitting here and asking myself, oh,
is she like trying to talk about like discovery and architect wise? Yeah, because she brought up like gardeners. But I have never heard about gardening in a Riot's term.
I actually heard the idea of the architect and the gardener. The gardener cultivates the characters and let the characters grow in themselves, and the architect builds the story and where the characters will go. But let that sink in.
The gardener is still like maintaining like those goddamn plants, how they're gonna grow.
Yeah, that. But
what sense does
again? Her idea of peak writing is just basic writing.
Okay. I'm still a bit lost in that analogy. I don't know what she's trying to get at. Anyway, yeah, I've never heard that gardening versus architecture argument before, so I don't know what she's on about.
I heard.
Okay.
I heard, I think, in some writers' channels that I use, that I follow, because I'm writing a book.
Okay.
Which I actually finished the manuscript yet. I don't know what to do now.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
Of all the analogies, gardening is not the one I'd go for.
I like baking. It's just easier.
I can understand architecture, but
baking
gardening
and
is
cooking.
weird.
You wouldn't be a smut stream without cooking.
Well, baking and cooking are two different disciplines, but the same process.
Cheese.
Yeah, the same. Well, cheese is fermentation. I don't know if you want your book to ferment and just wait. I did it 20 years ago.
I think my copy of Lord of the Rings was fermented for sure.
Yeah.
At least it smelled like
There's
one.
no oxygen in there. Anyway.
to the main story? Like, when are we gonna go back to the main point of the story? Which is what I did during Berserk all the time. Like, there's the main fucking events in the Golden Age arc, and then we don't deal with that.
What are you talking about?
What do you
Golden
mean?
Age deals with everything. It shows how everything's started, and now we go from there.
Yeah, everything is everywhere. Like you read through his entire thing, and it's one whole.
What are the
What
main
loose
events
ends are
of
you
the
talking
Golden
about?
Age arcs? Come on, guys, let's collect them.
Let's see. We have the introduction of the demons into the world and how we understand the people view them. Because before, people didn't really believe them ever existing. What else? What else, Mark?
The 1,000-Year War, or was it 100-Year War between
Oh, the
the
100 yeah, the
Midland
100-Year
and
War.
the Tudors?
The 100-Year War.
Between fake France and fake England.
We find out Guts' motivation of why he's on the hunt for Griffith. We also see all the different demons that killed the Bands of the Hawk, and that they were part of the Black Swordsman arc.
Yeah.
All right.
Not a great argument she's making in the first 2 minutes.
Right. Maybe we heard her wrong. Maybe she meant the Golden Arc or the Golden Age was the best, and then the other parts after it, like, I don't know.
Oh, she certainly means it. Like the Golden Age arc is the best, but like she said, like the things that like the Golden Age has set up, like those events, they weren't concluded or continued after it was concluded.
All
Like
right.
when we go back to the Black Swordsman arc, and like God starts going on his 2-year-long quest to hunt demons and to find a way to kill the God Hand. It's supposedly not continuing the story, which is strange.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep going.
Like, that's a very different thing. You're basically fighting against gods that are not even in this realm.
He's trying desperately
Later
to
on.
find like a way to like do that.
Yeah, and you have the Casca's arc is definitely developing and concluded.
Potato.
She's half Irish.
Okay, anyway. Keep going with the video.
Like, you have all these filler arcs, filler characters basically, and you're just wondering, can we go back to the main point? Can we like go back to the reason why we're
What do you mean, the cruise ship or what?
The filler arcs, like right after Golden Age, everything is supposedly filler then. Like, I mean, a lot of people argue that Lost Children was filler because they no longer talk about like the events that happened there. But it's like a very important chapter to see like Guts coming back to reality and like being empathetic again. Because before that, like he was extremely nihilistic. Like he's just lost in like his quest for vengeance.
Again, what is her point?
Nothing.
Like, explain who are the filler characters that you think they are. Explain
She's
why
never
you
gonna
think.
mention them.
Where-
She's never.
I swear if she thinks that Wild is a filler character.
No, that was Golden Age arc.
I know.
Yeah, it's
Is she talking Golden Age or post Golden Age? Because post Golden Age.
Her problem is with
everything that
post-Golden
happens
Age.
after a Golden Age is supposedly filler, according to her.
Is Puck a filler character to her because she thinks he's just a comic relief or something?
Puck? Well, I guess now.
He drives the whole plot forward. He gives us a direction where to go in order to help Casca do demon stuff.
You could argue later on that Puck becomes like a comic relief because he's no longer plot relevant, but that's
He always
fine.
was a comic relief, but he is not an irrelevant character.
Oh, right, but that's his relevance is not as focused or as important now because he's done his job. So that happens a lot in stories. That's fine.
I don't remember which chapter it was, but Guts even acknowledges at some point that without Puck's antics, he would have succumbed to all the negativity. It's Puck's bullshit that kept him on this side of sanity.
That's how you control your sanity.
That would be character development or any sort of conflict with characters that have a relationship. So that would be rather relevant to the plot because it deals with the main character. So
I remember it was written in an almost self-aware joke type line where he said this would be a much too dark story without Puck.
Yeah. Well, there's plenty of dark in all of the arcs of Berserk. So he's definitely a lighthearted side to things compared to other characters.
Even if she's saying that Lost Children is a filler arc, it's not a bad filler arc. Like, it's actually well written.
Well, this is the issue that we have with Berserk as it goes on. It doesn't focus on Guts as much. Like he's definitely there, and there's some key moments where he is the focus. But there's so many in his party, and they have all these escapades, and they learn magic, and
I think because there's not. I don't because not. Yoda is that now, and I don't know if the writers now who are writing post Miura can understand where Bruce Guts needs to go. I know that he grew a lot in the Lost Children, which doesn't make it a filler arc. But yeah, now that his party is bigger, Miura kind of spread his attention towards the other characters.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was going to talk about how what's her name, Shirka, the witch. She's like, there's a lot development with her because we need to get magic. I wouldn't say we're getting magic back to the world because there was always magic. It was just sort of.
Oh, she's the character that gives us the road into understanding the other side of the magic in this world. Not just the dark evil stuff, but there's another side to it that can work in counter, and that there are implications that there's not just this dark evil god, the heart of darkness, but there may be something else too that we don't know directly, but it's hinted at.
Yeah.
The other thing is with the Lost Children's arc. Is that if I remember right, that is what I think. That also expands on the world building on how do these demons actually work? What drives them? What humanity is actually left in them? How redeemable are they? That is important. That is important so that we can know. How do we see them as villains in the first place? And Griffith is worse than all these demons. Because many of these demons, they seem to have retained some humanity in them at the end.
Griffith is just a psychopath. He doesn't care.
There's absolutely nothing redeemable in him at all. Like the Demon Slayer has a similar concept where deep down in all these demons that are killed in Demon Slayer, most of them have some tragic backstory or some shred of humanity left that comes out in the moment of death. The demons in Berserk can be similar. But also in Demon Slayer, you have those that have absolutely no humanity. But in Berserk, that is mainly, as you said, that's Griffith.
Yeah, you mentioned Demon Slayer. The problem I heard from people who watch is that Demon Slayer kind of overdo the tragic backstory for
every single monster they kill, they reveal that shit. Yes.
Yeah, the only one that
formula
doesn't. There's only one demon in that show that doesn't have a tragic backstory. Yeah, the final boss.
Oh no! They didn't do a flashback thing for the artist demon in the vase. Because that guy was just an obsessed sadist.
I like the idea of your villains having sympathetic background, but overdoing makes the show kind of stale.
Yeah,
Okay, I understand. He had a bad. Just kill demons for God's sake.
and showing these pieces with the what was it, the Slug Baron and the Moth Girl. Those gave enough hints of how much humanity you can expect from these creatures.
I mean, it's still
Hello?
it's still kind of terrible when you read what they are actually doing, but you understand that they had their reasons. I mean, it's kind of tragic, but yeah.
All right, here is Adolf Klittler. Thank you, Adolf. Women need to be banned from fiction analysis? Oh, geez, they're not equipped for it. Better yet, women need to be banned. We don't deal with the main events in the Golden Age. The entire manga is dealing with the events from the Golden Age.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's part of it. Anyway, yeah.
Sometimes your story doesn't go, your adventure doesn't go in a straight line to where you want to go. Sometimes you have to take a detour.
Yeah, so subplots, side characters, and we always talk about...
You mentioned that that actually, sorry to interrupt you, but there actually happen a lot in epics, especially if you have the Odyssey or the Aeneid, where in the case of the Aeneid they have to stop in Carthage and you have all the arc with Dido. In the Odyssey itself, he's going out of his way to help islanders or stop a Cyclops.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of big stories that go on for years and years, manga at least, that have dozens and dozens of characters, and it's kind of like arguing that One Piece is bad because there's so many characters, or whatever the large ongoing series is, because it doesn't focus on the main plot. It's like, that's fine, but are those stories entertaining, and do they connect to the main plot? If they're just fun asides, is your entertainment achieved? Like, do you get what you want out of the show? If it's a romantic comedy, if it's an action adventure, do you get action adventure out of your story? If you do, great. And maybe you'd be hoping to see what happens with the main character in the original chapter, but this is what we go back to talking about Mad Max 2. He's just a vehicle. Max is a vehicle for all the other characters in the world to tell us what's going on, to flesh out the world. Then we come back to Max. Oh, he's still Hero Man, saving the day near the end. And that's how that works. We get more into the world by addressing more of the world outside of the main character. So it's how you do it.
The closest to a real filler story, I would say, would be the Island with the Sea God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really boring.
I agree.
Yeah, that didn't really add much.
Well, supposedly, like, the peril is that, like, Griffith destroyed, like, the Emperor and open up a rift to have this fantasy creatures crawling into the real world. Meanwhile, Guts kills the sea god. But it doesn't really work because Guts has been doing that for years now.
Alrighty. Let us continue.
There's a...
On this journey, that was me reading Berserk, whereas I don't have that when I read Dorohedoro. Everything is still part of the story. It still makes sense.
Then your reading comprehension is ass.
Why is Dorohedoro about?
I mean,
Will she explain why? Because
No, she's not gonna explain.
Give us a list of the points you think were not addressed in Berserk. That's what we need.
So that's how it's done right, gardening. When you write a story and you let the characters do, you can start with chaos, because when you start a story, you start with a promise. You promise the reader to be in the genre of, let's say, dark fantasy, right? You promise the reader a story about a guy who's looking for a revenge for something that was done to him and his family of friends before.
Yeah.
He wants to resolve the issue between him and his former friend who betrayed him. And that's the promise you give your readers. Everything else that you do then, let's say change genres, let's say change the entire point of the story, change the
Okay,
like,
Where's
Hey!
not doing any of that?
say where it is changing the genre, where it's not following the promise. Just
Where did the
just
manga
don't,
hurt you?
Yeah, well, I'm
just
kind of
don't
curious.
keep-
I'm really concerned here because when you have a story and you could say, I'm going to start it off as a science fiction. And then in chapter 7, I'm going to have a little romantic interlude between the main characters. She'd be pissed off. It's like, why is there a romance in my science fiction? I want sci-fi. I want guns and lasers and robots and time travel. It's like, why is there romance? This is not a romantic comedy. It's like, too bad. The writer is human and wants to have a human character and fleshing them out. Humans have feelings too, and they want to make them seem like real people, even though they're just characters in a story. So she's complaining because you might be adding an extra layer of complexity to your story. She's not going to like it.
Well, and like from her point of view, like she should have been pissed off from the very beginning of the Golden Age arc, because it's a grounded medieval story where there aren't too many demons. I think there's maybe 2 chapters at the beginning, like Zod shows up and then goes away as fast as that. Otherwise, like the story is grounded for like 30 or 40 chapters or so.
Yeah.
Like that's
the
like a
thing that
major shift from dark fantasy.
thing that is frustrating me is that she's not clarifying her critique. Where Berserk is doing that, where is not following the promise.
Yeah.
Yes, because like Berserk has like 375 chapters from 89 until today. It's like, where's the problem? Because I could easily say that like the Fantasia arc is where problems start to occur. Way too many of them, like in the pacing, because it's just gets really slow and gods take a back seat. And like meanwhile, like all the minor supporting characters are just like being focused on for years on. The story is just not going anywhere.
I think her focus on plot. She has to say the word plot and plot goal, and then I'd be like, okay, fine, I know where you're coming from, because she's just saying the promise. Yeah, what is it? That's I don't even know what the analogy means anymore, because she's referring to the promise of the writer, which I don't know exactly.
Maybe we need to use some pesticides.
Look, I would translate for you guys. I think I understood what she means by the promise. The promise is that Gus wants to revenge against Griffith. And she is complaining that the story of Berserk is not following that promise.
But what if it...
I like where you are reading that, because in Berserk, even on all chapters, Guts is looking for to have revenge on Griffith. Like,
well, even if it were, like, would she be happy if he never gets his revenge? He's always struggling. Every chapter he fails and fails. And he keeps trying and he fails. And would she get frustrated? It never happens. I've been reading for 20 years. And you're like, okay, but...
The accusation of genre change that there are a few comedic moments in there. Like this Japanese trope of having super special forces where all these special knights are all of some animal type and have their weird armor, their weird announcements. That's the only thing that kind of goes in that direction.
Only place you can say there's somewhat of a genre changes is on Golden Age. Even on maybe Fantasia, because Golden Age, as Tyler Preston said in the chat, can be considered low fantasy, and Fantasia is high fantasy. Like, even then, none of those are incompatible with dark fantasy.
Yeah, but you can see that as that's the next act.
Yeah.
And you have this is more than 3 acts. You have basically a some type of eclipse or fake eclipse every time you get into a new act. You have the actual eclipse, then you have the the mock eclipse, and the third one is where the Emperor goes on his super ego trip, and you get Fantasia.
Yeah.
All right. Here's not an FBI. Thank you, sir. Vosh loves this series mainly the horse part.
Yes, that's the horse part.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we get
Also,
it.
for our local FBI agent watching this, we are not planning to overthrow the United States. Joe Biden is
Not
the
yet.
president.
Bombe.
I'm Canadian. I don't really care. It's okay. Anyway.
They're watching you. They can
Anyway.
denounce you to Trudeau.
Oh, yeah, that's gonna. He's gonna anyway, let's keep going.
And the strategy and how do you approach the story. Because if it was a straight line towards that point before, and then you change it and you make it chaos and filler arcs and whatever, you're basically breaking a promise.
How can you make a straight line with the story as complex of Berserk? God's just walking towards the God hand, even though he has no idea. Like every chapter until he gives up mentally because like he gets possessed by the Beast of Darkness. Like before that, every single chapter is him trying to like kill Griffith as fast as possible. Like he's every single time he gets a chance to ask about the God hand, he takes that. And he's like asking like, okay, how can I get there? How can I destroy them? How can I stop them? That's the only thing he cares about. And then like he forgets about his friends because like that's how obsessed he is to resolve this issue.
Yeah, the Dark Swordsman arc is basically him hacking away at random at demons because he doesn't know the direction to the God hand. He first he's venturing out to maybe I'll find it somehow, but he doesn't. That's the whole problem. Until we get to the point where okay, something happens that now changes direction, that gives some direction, not necessarily towards the God hand, but it progresses the story, and eventually we'll get there. That's how an adventure goes in real life. It doesn't go in a straight line.
Yeah,
in the end, you will reach that point, but not every point to point between that is towards the goal.
Yeah, I'm getting the
Why
vibe.
didn't Frodo and Sam just go through that gate at like whoever knows Mordor? They should have just like gone through that gate and then like drop that fucking ring in the volcano.
Yeah, I'm getting the vibe she doesn't understand the difference between the plot and the plot goal. Because she wants the plot goal to be reminiscent of what the plot points are. So, like, find Griffith. There he is. Find how to stop Griffith. There. Okay, like she wants this logical progression in the plot, and she wants the plot goal to be always in the horizon. So then I have to ask if she wants these.
Go on,
what I'm trying to say is, if she wants these things, she's going to have a very straightforward story all the time, and this story would have been over in about 14 chapters.
Absolutely.
That's what Cryohazard said on the chat. Apparently, from what she's saying, we can infer that she doesn't like that Berserk is not chronological.
Well, but it becomes chronological once it's over with the Golden Age arc. What is she on about?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's the issue. I think she just doesn't see where the plot threads are picked up and where they go towards. With this whole direction thing, compare that to Wheel of Time, the books, by the way, the books. The same story would there be, okay, that's the hero. Evil Lord guy is at the evil mountain. Let's go straight to the mountain and do the way with the evil Lord guy. That would be, you could do that in one book. But, oh no, we first need these, what was it, 13 seals? I even forgot the number. Or 7 seals, something. That bind the prison. So first we need to find all of those, so we get all around the continent and wherever else. And we have all these evil henchmen. the super dark lords. We need to deal with those, and we need to fix the continent, and we need to get the armies together, and we have all these other things that we need to do before we can confront the actual evil at the evil mountain. What is the parallel to Berserk?
Rape.
The parallel to Berserk is those things, those story beats. Get the seals, fix the nations, get their armies together. There are different things in Berserk, because that's your path is to the God Hand, is to Griffith. But in Berserk, we don't even know what these things are that we need yet. That's part of the adventure, figuring out how do we even get there? How could we even beat Griffith? He's a god thing right now.
Yeah, and what she's frustrating me right now, and frustrating a lot, is that she's not explaining her point. Like, stop whistling. Speak clearly what you're trying to critique, because just saying, oh, it doesn't deliver the promise. Okay, how? Explain how.
So far, like, the only point that she made is that Dorohedoro is a better story than Berserk because it has a straight line gardening and filler characters, arcs.
And I want you. I'm gonna say she will not explain how Dorohedoro is better gardening than Berserk.
Absolutely not. She's gotta drop the whole thing.
Just from the way she puts it, it sounds like she just wants simpler stories.
I don't know. She doesn't say it. Like, apparently she's not saying.
And that is strange because, well, when you look at soap operas, for example, which are very, very famous with women, they have fairly complicated plots. They're very simplistic per episode, but overall, all this back and forth between characters is just annoying balls of yarn. But the viewership of that, they can follow that, no problem. So why would Berserk be a problem? That's less of a ball of yarn.
Maybe
that's just a lot of strands.
Maybe because to the person watching said story, you expect it to be a ball. Like it sells itself as a ball of yarn and melodrama and whatever else is in it. Whereas she's saying, well, the first 10 minutes of this story was this, therefore the rest of it should be the same. You're like, wait, why? Why do we have to go that far with the premise? Like, why can't it be more? Why can't it be more than just fighting off Griffith? Why can't it be about getting friends to help fight off Griffith and then their stories and how they become strong and how they become helpful to fighting off Griffith? Why can't we learn about the rest of the world? It's not just
because that would be racist.
It's not just
how we find a weak point of Griffith, or how we strip him of his god powers.
Yeah, it sounds daunting. Like when you have to fight a god or a guy who's really, really big and powerful and mighty, which Griffith is, you got to figure out how to do that. So you need friends, you need allies, you need weapons, you need tools and techniques and discipline and practice. And what does Guts do? He gets the armor. He gets a witch friend. He gets Puck. He gets all these other people around him to help him. Not to say that they're going to be like the wind beneath his wings or anything like that, but they're all sort of supporting him in their own way. That's what supporting characters do. And maybe you could certainly argue this for many anime and manga, that they have been going on so long without a specific focus in mind outside of fleshing out the world because people like it and the people keep buying it. So I'd argue that there's two ways to write the story that she's interested in. One, you have the main character or the main plot always on the horizon. It's always referenced. It's always there while we have adventures. Doesn't matter what the adventures are, but so long as something is on the horizon that she cares about, it's good. Or we do the opposite. We have every single scene in the story be about the main plot, but the main plot is always shifting. So it's over there. Maybe it's over there. Maybe it's this character is the main plot. It's constantly moving, but it's all about revenge. It's all about stopping the big bad. But we never get there. We're always just shifting. It seems that's what her brain is going towards. This.
And for the evil side, it's always about ego. Griffith's whole story is about ego. The Kushan Emperor, ego, purely. That is why he turns into basically the third eclipse, where the whole giant is made out of faces that are all him. And something that could bring down Griffith could be that for some reason people catch on to him that his utopia is a dystopia, is a horrible place, and that they rather flee it despite there being monsters outside everywhere. And then Griffith is left with an empty kingdom. That would destroy him internally. That's things that the story could go.
Yeah, I'm surprised she wouldn't argue about anything regarding Griffith she would hate, because it's not about Griffith. It's about Guts and his journey. But we have all kinds of content about Griffith and the people he befriends and the demons he befriends and their stories and
Friends.
well,
More like
destroys.
Sally.
Whatever you want to call his interactions. Anyway.
Griffith uses people and discards them, just like history.
Would she like that at all? Because it's not about I don't know. We'll find out.
You promised dark fantasy. You promised me someone who wants to deal with his inner demons.
Yes.
You got that.
And the person that caused these inner demons, right? I want to know about that.
Sure.
Yeah,
because that's what you gave me for like 20 chapters. Or like, let's say 5 years.
Oh, so you wanted 300 chapters. That is only that. Edgy, emo, teenage, so pain. So you wanted 300 chapters of Naruto that are all Sasuke moping. Is that it? Because that's what it sounds
about
like.
Naruto?
It sounds like. She wants 300 chapters of Sasuke moping.
Yeah, would she like flashbacks of Sasuke's childhood? Because
no one wants that.
Because it explains why he is the way he is. Like, is that important to the main plot? Should be.
More Donovan flashbacks of getting raped by him.
No,
please,
no. Please.
That's gotta be up to her alley.
just the illusion is already terrible.
Okay.
But
series running 5 years, and then you completely change it. That's what can happen when you just let loose, when you don't have a plan, when you don't.
No, you don't understand writing is the problem.
I'm not like I heard that Muta had a plan.
Girl, have you read The Never-Ending Story? Because after the first movie is basically the first part of the book. The other movies have nothing to do with the book that Hollywood made. After that, the world is destroyed and remade completely anew through the fantasy of the main character. That fantasy land is also called Fantasia. So you get a completely different world after that. I think it's about the first third of the book. It's kind of similar in that you get a different story then, because the first story is the main character, who's the character in the real world who is reading the book. That's where the connection to the child that is reading the book is supposed to be. Details. Grows and finds his own courage, and thereby goes into the story to save the world. And then you get another story where he builds that world. In Berserk, the first part is the what's Auftakt. Like, it's a very, very, very long prologue that sets the stage.
It's the foundation of the story.
Yeah, the foundation. Thank you. That explains the whole world, all of these characters, gives us something to care about all of them, and then kills them all off in a horrible apocalyptic thing. And then we got demons everywhere.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's pretty common with big explosions, or when the plot is achieved, you get a new plot. And this, as you said, the world is changed, and Final Fantasy VI does that. Yeah, it's the story has changed. There's a bigger conflict. We learn, and through that process, we learn about the world. Like with the Empire versus the Returners, it's not just good versus evil. It's we have this all other magical land where these espers come from, and we've torn that veil. Now they're open, and now we're refighting this Magi war all over again. And then Kefka comes by and just blows the world up. We're like, oh shit. And now we have to stop Kefka from blowing up the world again. So you can do this in a story. It's fine.
Yeah, and then with the then you have that whole story. And then with the mock eclipse, where Griffith births himself back into the world as this horrible god thing, then you get the next big story. These are 3 big stories building on each other. It's the next stage of the story. That's why it is different. There are different things happening. There are different goals.
Yeah, I don't know if she's complaining.
It's not that hard.
Because she said, "Oh, you promised me dark fantasy, and then you change it."
It's all still dark.
Where either she's complaining about the Golden Age or Fantasia.
Yeah, it's hard to say because that's a setting.
Definitely Fantasia, because like she really liked the Golden Age ones, and she mentioned that like she was insulted that like it doesn't continue with the events that were set up in the Golden Age.
But doesn't say which events.
Yes, she will never clarify.
Okay. All right. Well,
she will never clarify.
It's a weird. She's focusing on philosophy of writing as opposed to like examples that it works better. All she did was quote another show or book or whatever. Which
if this was a philosophy essay, she will probably get an F because she's not making her point. She's not explaining why or how it is bad.
Yeah, but that's like
it's okay for her to give the example of Dorohedoro, but then she
even then
needs to get the sub examples of what about that. What are the points that are similar or that the one does better than the other? You need to name them.
Yeah, well,
we can't mind read you, woman. You have to tell us what you want.
But by the way, like the most hilarious one is that like when she mentioned that like I heard that Miura had a plan, and I saw it had like Dutch in front of me from Red Dead Redemption 2. I got a plan.
So even though she pointed out that in the beginning that this was from a live stream, even if it wasn't from a live stream, it's still bad because people can make good points on the fly. Like it doesn't excuse her for being on a live stream.
Well, she uploaded it as a separate video, so like she could have edited it together, so like it doesn't have that space like now, because like she could have definitely cut this video down.
I'll make better points afterwards.
Alan Raptor. No, she said herself that she wanted a dark fantasy, and she's complaining about something. I don't know, like. There's plenty dark fantasy, even after Fantasia. I don't know why she's complaining.
I'm not sure she knows what she means when she says dark fantasy. Or maybe she knows what she means, but she's
dark
not
fantasy is Donovan. We already got through that.
Yeah. No one wants to know who's Donovan is.
All right. Well,
you will know.
Let's keep going.
He wrote everything the way he planned it. Mori, about that, like, I really don't believe him. That everything was planned from the very beginning when Miura made the story. I don't buy it, because if you read interviews with Miura, he was pretty lost. He didn't know what to do with Berserk. So I don't buy what Mori said about that. But even if he had planned...
Should we take all those interviews as 100% accurate? Because like Vrya could be like holding off information from you. In fact, like for the longest time, we didn't even know like Mori is the famous mangaka that he's friends with. Because like before his death, we didn't know this information at all. It was only after that. Like supposedly like Mori knows like the basic structure of like how Berserk's going as a story, because like in the 90s, like he planned it out, like the big landmarks that the story is gonna reach. But other than that, like what's gonna happen in between them, these chapters, he has little information.
Yeah,
that's why they are like trying to like figure it out. The team.
I don't take the interviewer question like, what are you going to do for the character? Like, he's not going to reveal everything he's going to do, or
I'm gonna kill Griffith.
It's like he's not going to explain this all in an interview.
If I were Miura, I would completely answer the questions in the wrong way. Like, I gotta make Griffith.
Casca's gonna get halfway over her PTSD and do the lovey-dovey with Guts. Yay! Like, how insane would you be as an author to spoil such things?
Does she want like an elaborate answer? Like, well, I've planned out the first 75.6% of the arc for this year, and the next year I have about 10% figured out in my like. Do you want like a map with time frames?
What are you gonna do with this character?
So how many crazy people are in Japan? How many crazy people are in Japan? Like, they would just break into the studio and just like steal the whatever script he had installed there.
Like, I don't think I should be interpreting psychologically an interview. And I don't think he knows what he's talking about. It's like, he's the creator. It's fine.
Hey, Andy.
I thought it was late. Is it tonight?
Hello.
Hey.
It is right now.
Oh, we are doing a thing? Oh, shoot. I'm on my crap top. Should I get my better mic? It's a new laptop. I have no idea how that sounds. Does this sound terrible? Is this acceptable?
I originally thought
it's
you were Wisp.
acceptable.
So I was like, is that
You
Wisp?
sound like the Brazilian.
Okay.
Okay. If it's acceptable, then I'm not going to go grab my mic.
All right. Well, right now we're bashing a wonderful female
A woman.
critic who's very educated and knows about writing. So we're doing the best we can to keep up with her. She's
She's giving us lots of examples to understand what she actually wants to tell us. We don't have to mind read her at all.
So far, like, we have this premise that supposedly things after the Golden Age arc in Berserk have filler arcs and filler characters. And we are still trying to see through that.
And
She's not explaining.
Apparently nothing that was done in the Golden Age arc was resolved anywhere afterwards.
Like, who killed Donovan? Oh, no.
I don't think we'll ever know, Mark.
Yeah.
Are we somewhere together? Or?
Oh, there's a watch together link if you want to follow along. If not, you could just listen in silence.
There
I
it
guess it's up to you.
Scroll up in the.
Got it.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. I think we're all together and we're holding hands and not singing Kumbaya because.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, I'm in Brazil. Means that I am outside time and space, so I can hold hands and sing Kumbaya.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know we were watching, but why Berserk bad? Okay, cool, great.
Yeah, it's a wonderful.
I'm just gonna say she doesn't explain very well her points. Like it's very. I got very frustrated.
A woman can't explain her points well. I'm shocked.
I've seen that before.
First time I've heard that, but okay. Anyway, let's keep going.
He didn't really execute it well, Miura. He didn't execute it well. He went on too many tangents. And if he hadn't planned and just wanted to see what happens with the characters, then that was pure chaos that happened. He strayed a lot. But I think Berserk is maybe a wrong, like not an ideal example that I took for this phenomenon that I said promises that are broken while you're writing your story and just letting your characters loose. Other stories would fit that probably a lot better than Berserk, because Berserk was just because an author, didn't know what to do with his characters anymore. Like, he genuinely didn't know.
Does she not know he died?
But that's not the issue.
She supposedly gave up.
Berserk is flawed.
She supposedly gave up the book after around 5 years now.
How far did she get into it, though?
I think that's
But
like supposed
said
towards the end of Fantasia.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean that's pretty far, but I kind of don't believe that just from what she said from the seconds I've been listening. but Guts and Griffith, I mean, I find that difficult to believe, but that's fine. It's fine. Just keep going.
Her main problem is that she says that Miura promised dark fantasy, and and Guts dealing with his inner demons and trying to get revenge on Griffith. But if you read all of Berserk through, even after Fantasia, you can see that Miura does make the Guts deal with his inner demon.
Absolutely.
And
that's the real demon of
real...
Berserk. It's more Guts' own internal struggle than it is Griffith as the external. If you've read them all,
the Beast of Darkness.
Yeah, the Beast of Darkness, and he was going to the arc of Guts going after Griffith. Like, I don't know what she wants. Like, it's there. She could have.
Guts had to.
She
realize
wanted
that,
Guts and Griffith to be lesbians.
Oh no! She hasn't.
That's the next video.
Well, that's the next. That was my guess. After seeing 30 seconds, that was my guess.
We've covered about.
I guessed correctly though.
Women who want that.
Yeah, we've covered that before. This is not. Apparently, this is not it yet. But
there's another.
She doesn't like the mix of genres, so I don't think it's going to happen. But she was complaining about that. Dark fantasy is a genre, I think, and then if you put in other genres, it's lying to the audience. You want to.
Put a woman in it, make her gay.
No, I think that's the opposite of what she's trying to say.
Really?
She wants revenge.
Yeah, she was complaining because I don't know if she's complaining about the fact that Golden Age is low fantasy, or if Fantasia, because Fantasia is a high fantasy.
We're still unsure whether she means the setting from dark fantasy or genre as a whole. I don't know exactly. So.
Yeah, but dark fantasy, you can do that low or high fantasy.
Yeah, dark is a different. Dark is an adjective to apply to low or high fantasy. Low or high fantasy refers to the setting. Dark or light, I suppose. These are additional adjectives that apply to either type of setting. They can apply to both. Either. It can be a dark, low fantasy or a dark, high fantasy. It can also be a light, high, or low fantasy. Depends on the setting.
Outside of the medium change from like a video game, like Dragon Age is a dark fantasy, and there's all kinds of side plots and subquests and characters that are running around doing random things unrelated to stopping the plight. So, would she like
Dragon
that?
Age, you only mean the first one.
Well,
I generally
obviously.
describe Dragon Age as a dark high fantasy.
Yeah, pretty much. But she would not like that because there's too many quests and subplots and characters, and they're not focused on.
Oh, how infuriating!
Yeah,
there's too much story.
So many interesting side notes and world building and drama outside of stopping the big baddie.
She accused Miura to doing too much tangents, and I think she's like, okay, he went on his way to make the characters grow. Like, there's a lot of from Farnese, there's a lot from the Little Witch that I don't remember. Like,
sure, Kay.
Yeah, sure.
From what you guys have watched so far, if I'm getting the gist, her contention is that she wants fantasy to be simplified into like a kindergarten baby kind of level simplicity.
Yeah, she wants a story to take like a straight line, just like go straight for the revenge story.
Yeah,
because like the only example that she has brought up so far is Dorohedoro, supposedly. Like that's a superior story.
Yeah,
but
and
I've never seen
from the chat that she's doing, from the chat here, Dorohedoro does shift genres, even like.
How bizarre! I've never heard anyone. No. It's that crazy woman who reviews movies on YouTube. She says stuff like that though too, doesn't she? I can't remember now. Grace Randolph. That's her name.
Alien Paladin. Yes, yeah, that's the name.
No.
She
review scientific literature, bro. I got so excited today. I've got a new subject matter I'm looking into, and I pulled up like 30 studies. I get so excited to read them. It's like Christmas morning. But no, Grace Randolph, who basically said that kind of should have been like, nobody actually pays attention to the plots of films. Just
Really?
show up. Sorry, I'm zooming up. You heard me like unboxing stuff. That was a vape. Nobody gives a fuck about films. They just care about seeing things they like, things that they recognize. It's all just referential. If I see a thing I recognize, then I'm happy. Maybe you, but I'm sorry, I'm not a computer, and I'm damn close to one. Even I'm not that fucking autistic, though. Oh, look, a thing I recognize, I like it, therefore I'm clapping. I'm not that much of a fucking NPC. I like to sit around calculating pi all day.
That's less of an autistic computer thing. That's more of an emotional reaction machine.
Well, it sounds like a mommy syndrome, where it's like you see your kid on stage because they're on stage.
Yeah.
Therefore, I must clap.
Ooh, that's a good analogy. It's like I saw my kid on stage, therefore I'm proud. Yeah.
Doesn't matter what she does.
Yeah,
how she does it.
everyone is proud of their son, who is the tree in the behind.
I want to be the stone.
All right. Anyway, we got 5 minutes and a half. We can go for another few minutes. I'm okay with that. She's not nauseating.
She's not making her point.
Well, she's slowly explaining the same thing, just in more detail. So
she's at least not as deranged.
She's not a pervert. Yeah, exactly.
She does derange Grace Randolph so far, but I've seen a minute of it, so let's continue, yeah?
Okay.
Went on side quests to figure out what else to do while at least keeping the tone of the story, adult with lots of gore and adult material.
Okay, what side quests would you say, if you want to call them that, were pointless to any character development or getting anything, any sort of relevant?
It depends on the game. I would say that like the Radiant quest and something like something like
any Bethesda game.
No. What's it even called? My brain's not. It's the biggest fucking RPG of all time. My brain's breaking on it.
Final Fantasy.
The Bethesda one.
Oh,
Starfield.
Skyrim. Even in Skyrim, sorry, my brain's breaking on stuff. That's simple, but it's because I've been reading research all day, so I'm in like a different set of mind. Anywho, so even in something like Skyrim, I never felt like any quest that I did, even if it was completely inconsequential, did not have anything to do with my character. I've been finishing the new DLC on Cyberpunk 2077, and I played the whole game, even though during the midst of its problems, but I still liked Cyberpunk 2077. I think it's one of the most flawed games maybe released in modern history, and CDPR should be pilloried for that, but it is what it is. Doing a minor quest in something like Cyberpunk 2077, or even in Skyrim, does not somehow take me out. It adds to the totality of what my character does, because even in small side quests, you can choose to do all kinds of pretty fucked up things in almost any RPG, any modern RPG. And we can go even back. Let's go back to something like Deus Ex, right? Still kinds of little tiny little side quests you can do in that game that absolutely add to the character of who your JC Denton is versus my JC Denton. It's a different person based on your playstyle.
No. Everyone says that the French woman should get a job. No one.
Yes, that's true. Absolutely.
No one.
Does that mean I don't get the job?
Well, just to be fair, she does have a rather large ratio on this video. I just didn't bother to mention that because I thought we'd give her a fair shake. So it's 160 upvotes, and if my plugin is working correctly, 260 downvotes. So.
Oh. Yeah, but, Aiden, what would you consider, because she calls everything filler apparently, what would you consider filler in Berserk?
What do I consider filler in a film or in a TV show? Because films don't generally have a whole lot of filler. Sometimes they do.
Hello? Can you hear me?
In the story,
Berserk specifically.
Sure, but I'll give my opinion on what filler is. It's time wasting. It's that we don't know what to do right here. And there is a really big difference, because if you were to ask me, like, what's your favorite episode of Stargate? What's your favorite episode of The X-Files? What's your favorite episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The answers that I would give you are probably quote unquote filler or Star Trek. Doesn't matter. Any Star Trek. Give me a Star Trek and I'll tell you the answer. Every answer that I would provide you is probably what's quote unquote a filler episode. You know, like Once More with Feeling or Tinker Tanner Doctor Spy in Star Trek Voyager. These are going to be my favorite episodes, so many in the X-Files or in Supernatural, whatever. I do like filler episodes. But the only way that filler episodes work, and I'm talking about in television exclusively, not in movies, but the only way that filler episodes work, and by that I mean that they're not necessarily important to the plot. Now, Once More with Feeling is extremely important to the plot of Buffy, but let's ignore that one. For the rest of them, for the most part, the funny episodes that are quote-unquote filler. Not the ones where nothing happens whatsoever, but the funny ones.
No, she's specifically talking about Berserk, the manga.
She's specifically talking about in the context of Berserk, right? Okay. I think that filler stuff can work fine in media. In the context of Berserk, I find there's very little filler content in that. It's just letting you get to know the characters better, which is part of the point of quote-unquote filler content. As I was saying, with all those other things that have like these comedic episodes.
That's exactly what my question was about.
Yeah, right. So you know, a favorite episode of the X-Files, right, is let's say Jose Jones from Outer Space or Humbug. Excellent episodes where all that happens in the episode is just nothing plot-wise happens. It's just character development. That often gets called filler. I don't think that's an accurate representation. I think calling everything filler just because nothing actively happened in the plot is not correct, because sometimes filler is very important to understand the character, and I think probably what she's referring to in Berserk as quote-unquote filler is character development.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. That even though, and I specifically mentioned the Lost Children arc, even though if the Lost Children arc is filler, it's actually a good filler. Like, it's not badly written, so it's not a problem.
Right. If it's good filler, then who cares? If it's good filler that includes character development, which has been my experience with Berserk, then who gives a damn? If it's not active action happening all the time. Has she read something like Claymore? You want to try to go read that? All women cast. Want to read that one? Want to look at some filler in Claymore? Very similar to Berserk, by the way, why I brought it up. Interesting.
Honestly, if I want to be very critical of Berserk, I would say like maybe the ship captain, like the
ship arc was terrible. Everyone knows that, but
yeah, but like that was like fair character because like it gets really bloated, like with all the side characters.
We're all aligned. We're all hand in hand. Ship arc, terrible.
Thank you. I feel cathartic now. But that is such a blatant example that she could bring up, but she doesn't. But what else? I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
But everything is important.
It's as if the theme and the plot have to be constantly the same in every chapter, regardless of who's doing it.
Like Miura was like so bored during the ship arc. Like there's some panels where Gus literally looks like Fred Flintstone.
That's
how traumatizing those chapters were.
Okay. All right. I think we had a donation here. Okay, here's a donation from Louis Seems Gay. Thanks, Louis. European chick is Austrian and female. Two of my least favorite disabilities. She praises adorable, which also combines...
Did she drop out from an art school?
Maybe she graduated. Who knows?
Wait,
no.
Anyway.
Wait, what art school? If she's Austrian, that could be a problem.
Okay, anyway, which also combines...
Is that the lore? She's Austrian? I could tell she had an accent.
She is Austrian.
Which also combines genre and doesn't entirely focus on the MC, which I was told she doesn't like.
I do like that big Vegeta plush. Sorry.
She's like a European Jenny Nicholson, but with less makeup.
A good point.
Looking at her face, she and I look kind of similar.
No, you have actually contour to your face. She is just a flat wall with no sticked on.
What? I put makeup on to contour my face. That's what contouring makeup does. Well, I'm also...
You have a chin. You have a chin.
So. I mean, still, no. I mean, I'm half German essentially, so like she and I could probably be related.
Ooh, my condolences.
Related on some level.
I heard related, then filleted, then belated. I don't know what's happening.
You said you had relatives in Bavaria. They would probably kill the Austrians.
Okay.
We don't really know.
Let's leave the Austrians alone.
I think my relatives were from Bavaria. I think that's true, but it was like my grandmother's grandparents.
Either way, my condolences for you for having
Bavarians
half
and
German
Austrians
blood.
don't like each other.
All right, guys.
Well, no one in Europe likes each other.
Oh,
so that's
dear.
a
That
good one.
is true.
Anyway,
I hate all of
let's
you.
One thing we can all agree on.
let's get
We all
back to
hate
the
each
video.
other.
Let's keep going.
That's true. I do hate this.
So at
French.
least he stayed with the theme, darkness and darkness of humanity. He at least stayed with that tone until he just
Also a lot of hope.
started writing just high fantasy, and it was more shonen with
Ah,
a side of gore.
Okay, so dark
knew.
fantasy and high fantasy
I
are
knew
different
she
things
was
in her
going
mind.
to. Remember that we said it's either Golden Age or Fantasia. I knew.
Yeah.
I knew it's going to be Fantasia.
Mm-hmm.
So high fantasy with gore is not dark fantasy anymore? I don't care. Well, fair enough.
She probably
Gore
would
is
like.
usually have to go only in the dark things.
She probably wouldn't like Warhammer.
Maybe her definition is like sex, not violence for dark fantasy. Who knows?
She wants more rape.
Here's actually the curious thing, right? So the current area of investigation I'm delving into is the whole idea that like women don't like violence. They want like positive female role models, but that aren't. I mean, they could be kind of violent, but it shouldn't be too violent because that's upsetting to women. They should work things out with words.
I know that's.
That's
a
why
lie,
they're
because
into psychological abuse and sadism through that.
Guess what
No,
I
that's a
found
lie,
in
because,
one day. In one day. Now I've got 30 more papers to read, but I've read about 6. I got 30 more to read. No, not a single piece of evidence, and I'd be shocked if I could find anything to the contradictory to prove that kind of contention. No, women like violence as much as men. Women do not like pussy shit, and women don't like aggressive, ugly female protagonists. It is proven in data. I've got it right here. I've got it right here on my desktop. It's proven. You don't have to fuck with me, man.
So you mean all these
I actually, it's so intense
Subscribe to Alien Paladin right now.
that there's neurological data that they are lying about it.
Are you trying to imply that all these positive virtue stories about women, that they fart perfume and everything, that is all lies?
Oh, it is all lies. To the fact that if you show a woman, this was a study that was done in 2006, that where they showed like a sexy ad in the Super Bowl versus like a non-sexy ad, woman in a bikini versus woman not in a bikini, 2 different ads. The woman's neurological activation was far higher in terms of her empathy and her identification with a character in the sexy ad. She had far less activation in the amygdala and in other parts of the brain when watching the non-sexy ad. So even though the same women who had that activation, they were like, I don't like this ad, it's sexist. But their brain betrayed the reality. They did like the ad. They did like it. Your brain betrayed you, bitch.
It's a lie because my mom hates half of the female characters in DC and Marvel.
It's Iacoboni, 2006, who really won the Super Bowl. That's the study on that. It was not published totally, sort of a little bit, but yeah, that's that basic dialectic there. They were like, I don't like this. This is sexist. But then when they ran their brains through an fMRI, their brains were were much more activated, much more stimulated, much more interested in the sexy ad than the non-sexy ad.
Hollywood.
Sure thing, lady.
Well, if they don't do it,
Keep lying.
They
Keep lying to yourself.
We shouldn't believe what women say.
well, if they don't,
We shouldn't.
But you believe what I say
Believe-
because everything I say is backed up by data, and I can give you a citation on it.
if they don't have reports on the
All the
EEG or galvanic skin response, I don't care. Okay, let's keep going.
Well, right. Well, with the they should have included a galvanic in response.
Aiden, that fits into the pattern that when a woman says that she wants something or means something, that she actually means the opposite. You just proved that.
Oh no, guys! Please.
Yep. Every time, man.
Okay. 6 minutes. I said a few more minutes. We can go for that too. I think that's fair.
We can't finish this.
No, are you crazy? We're gonna hurt ourselves. Anyway.
So he even changed genres, basically.
What?
Broke a promise there already.
What promise?
But I think other stories probably fit my description better of what I said, how you fail when you just let your characters lose themselves in the story and you don't pay up, with the promise. Whereas
the promise is Griffith wants to fuck the world, and he does. And he takes control of the narrative by reforging the entire world to create his little forced utopia golden cage.
Also,
where people have to stay, because if they leave, there's monsters.
Also, from what the chat said, Dorohedoro changes genres too, so whatever.
Tyler Preston asked, Aiden, why do women love the Netorare genre?
You don't need to answer that.
Oh.
You don't need to answer that. You don't need to answer that.
Netorare.
Guys.
I don't know why women like Netorare.
Fine.
I could probably, if you gave me enough time to think about it, I could mull it over and then figure out the evolutionary psychological reason for it, because I'm sure there is one, because something else exists. If you ever have a question about why people do shit, just think about evolutionarily, why would that happen?
Okay, you didn't need to answer that, but okay, you already answered.
Keep it as a possible video topic.
Oh dear.
No, don't keep it.
Well, I mean, if you want, they can go into rather risque.
I'm sure Tyler Preston will be happy if you give him an autistically long answer on your channel.
Okay. That's
make it 20 hours.
Anyway, that's.
I think once.
Thank you for the suggestion. Okay, let's keep going.
That is the main focus when you're a writer. You just set something up, and then you need a payoff. You need to come back to that initial start as to why you wrote that story. The story would have ended very quickly if it didn't make it go on tangents. But no. I mean,
tangents.
Even if it's a yes, quality over quantity, I don't need a long story, I just need a good story. But that's not the main point.
Okay, so there's the inherent problem. She wants something very small, a novel, and she's getting a giant series of chapters, huge volumes.
The problem is that even if Berserker is long, and it is long, it's a page turner. You don't feel that long.
The issue becomes the aspect of size. If you read a short story, you expect certain things. If you read a novella, you expect certain details to be fleshed out at a certain time, even within the 20-minute mark at certain times. So she's using this from, I don't know what her standard is for reading. Or
she doesn't. Problem is that she didn't lay out what is good and what is not. We are here just grasping at vapor.
Well, no, I think she's taking genre and media in different criteria. So
straws are solid. She doesn't have a point. Her point is floating in the air.
Well, no, if she's evaluating a short story like a 20-minute read, then she has great points because you don't have time to flesh out the world. You only have to focus on plot because there's nothing else to do. She's getting this 300-chapter novel, this massive tome, and she's going, well, there's too many characters, and it's if you read The Water Margin or any other large epic, there's going to be dozens of characters. You're like, why are there so many characters? Why aren't they written with better grammar? And how come there's only these cuneiform? It's no, that was done thousands of years ago. We have different styles and standards now. You can't apply what was done even 10 years ago to what was happening with Mira, 5 years ago. So
I think that speaking about the Odyssey or the Iliad or whatever, it's still, there's a reason why it's an everlasting story, why people can still read the Odyssey or the Iliad and find enjoyment in that story because it's everlasting. It's John Campbell, Joseph Campbell, the hero with 1,000 faces. These are perennial stories that are universal to humanity. The reason she can't understand it is because I think she can't.
She's not human.
She can't.
Maybe, but maybe
Wow.
it's that she can't, like, she needs it to be like, because she's a Zoomer or something. I don't know how young she is, but she's
Also,
in this
I like
where
that
anything
you
should be truncated down into like a digestible cookie for me, because I can't deal with long form content.
She's 27.
The
Ooh,
what
not good.
the hell? And the vibe that with this cut down thing that she's talking about, with this the straight line, short, compact. The vibe that she gives me now is something I feared that I didn't want to say in the beginning, but now I'm getting more sure of that. Is that she reminds me of what I started calling the fetish reader. She just wants the tags of the story. She wants that in the story, and she doesn't want distraction from those things. And when she gets new chapters of that story or the next volume, she just wants those exact same things again and again and again and again. It's basically watching every Pokemon episode.
Well, even with Pokemon, you have variety.
Yes, but you have the beats of problem with Pikachu, Team Rocket flies into the sky. Basically.
Also, I like that you mentioned the Iliad and the Odyssey. Those are pretty much the best stories for you to cite, to say, hey, this is how a good story is, because everyone draws from the Odyssey and the Iliad because how good they are.
And I would say Berserk is up there with those two.
I can agree with that.
I think if in 2000 years some archaeologists managed to dig up a full version of Berserk, they treated the same way as we when we discover new tablets from the Epic of Gilgamesh.
They would probably place in the Japanese canon, which it already is actually, because a lot of people draw from Berserk. Draw from JoJo.
Well,
from Dragon Ball.
It's not just the cultural importance, but it's what we call the cathartic impact of a lot of the scenes in both the Odyssey as well as Berserk. I think Whisp was talking about previously, not today, but there's lots of things you could read in I think it was 150 to 200 chapters that just alleviate your issues. And
Miura's understanding of human character, of the human psyche, of especially of psychopaths, narcissists, of PTSD is enormous, and that is not something that you can learn from books. Way in the nuanced minutia that he writes, that he draws, he has profound knowledge of these things.
Right. And
you may just to expand with points, the Odyssey and the Iliad were stories that the Greeks used to learn from it. Yeah. That's why the Homer was called the teacher of the Greeks, because they treated the Iliad and the Odyssey as a religious and something that they could learn. That's one of the many problems that Plato have with the Odyssey and the Iliad, is because Plato say that, okay, you portray the gods in an unjust way. The gods can't be unjust. Like, that's his main problem with that.
Because Plato is a hack.
No. Plato's Republic is about justice. Okay, don't diss Plato.
Oh dear. Okay, that's another discussion, but let's not. We don't have to go there.
Oh, I would love to talk about just do a smut talk only on the classics and Aristotle.
I love the Republic. Yeah, we could happily do that. Yeah, for sure.
I'll need to fill up some gaps on my bookshelf.
It's a fast read. It's not hard. Anyway, guys.
Not just the Republic. Some other things I want to read as well.
Okay. Anyway, we got at least another minute and a half going before we run around the house crazy. So she is definitely missing a few pages from this how to write book that she just invented on the fly. That is making me notice that she's not incorrect in her philosophy. She's just applying it to the wrong book, unfortunately. Anyway, we are at 7 minutes.
Already bashed Berserk in many streams. I'm trying to one day make a vibe check video on Berserk where I just put all my complaints into one video. But Berserk is basically just the Golden Age arc is really good, and the rest is really bad, except for some aspects.
Where?
For example,
Right.
an aspect of changing from revenge to trying to find a resolution for your negative emotions. That's a good aspect that I don't think was executed well. Not at all. So
It's not even finished yet. And there's a resolution with Griffith isn't even really possible. That will happen completely differently. That's the Spoonchild thing going on, right?
Yes.
I believe so.
Okay, well, here's Mr. Gay Actor Michael Douglas. Thank you for the tip, sir. Guys, you don't understand. Griffith's main problem isn't the mass murder, ordering a man to be killed, rape, etc. It's that he has too much empathetic... Oh, no, do not use that word.
Whatever.
No.
Do
We're
not.
not going in that. We're not going there.
No, we are not going on that.
I listened to that guy 3 hours. It was not.
Guys, if you don't know the history, we had he wanted to come on, so we let him on. We covered a video of a guy who thought Griffith was so good that
He was misunderstood.
He was misunderstood because he had so much empathy for the people he killed. And it was it was like listening to a man who has been tortured and come to think of the way his torturer was thinking.
Got Stockholm syndrome.
I don't know.
I don't think he had Stockholm syndrome. Like, I think he really related with.
Well, when we tried to talk to him on Twitter in general, remember the reaction to Heels versus Babyface and the pronouns? He was.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, so he was saying to me or someone else that you just use pronouns. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking? Like the fact that we used he and she in a sentence to communicate over Twitter was apparently a gotcha to us. I mean, I was like sitting there for like
ridiculous
10 minutes. I'm like, well, we can't use grammar anymore. Like, the issue is not whether we can't use appropriate grammar, because that's how we were all taught. It's the fact that he did not like it in a certain context. So this is the kind of and we covered a girl, I think 2 months ago, who was using that same argument, and we had to stop. We had to stop watching the video. It was so asinine because she kept saying...
Sorry, unrelated, sorry. I'm going to mute myself. Sorry.
Okay. No, it was just so weird that these people think this way, that if you have an argument about pronouns, they will point out the fact that the person having the argument is using pronouns in their explanation. And that's the level of mentality these people are at that we just couldn't process. We're like, this is dumb. This is so childish. And grade school, not even grade school, maybe like grade school recess juvenile. It's that stupid.
No, kids would probably
that is
be
an
more
accurate
intelligent.
assessment.
I think it's because they can't differentiate the use of proper grammar and modified postmodern grammar.
It's strange.
Of course not. Of course not. They only know that they're taught this is the good way to do things, and in order to be a good person, you must do this thing that we tell you. But we're not going to tell you that we're actually a secret dogmatic religion or cult. We're just going to tell you that this is how you do it right. We are the good people.
It's weird. It's like saying if I'm reading one of your stories and you have a swear word, and it's like fuck. It's like you swore. It's like no, I'm reading what you wrote. I'm not swearing. There's two different. The word is the same, but the context is complete. Like what are you talking about? Like this is so stupid. Anyway. Okay, here we go. 1 more minute and actually 30 seconds. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Thought it was 1 minute. Cut in half.
I said that we are going to finish.
No, we're not. What are you talking about? We're fine the way we are.
Of course we finish.
It's a Christmas. Everyone's happy. What are you talking about? Don't
yes, it is.
Don't ruin the season. We're all happy. Okay.
It's just a Golden Age arc, which is maybe 10% of the manga, or maybe like 30% of the manga, I don't know, is good,
okay.
And the rest, which is the rest of the 70%, is really bad.
Okay,
why?
Really bad.
Why?
Berserk, Hunter x Hunter, Bleach, 20th Century Boys, Tokyo Revengers, and Grash Rose are some series that I think the authors should have just sold the idea and let directive manga managers handle the rest. Yes, better than letting it go or shitting in it.
What?
Yes, I agree.
Why?
Like,
you want boardrooms to write your manga?
You can see that she's European because she likes bureaucracy.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
This is scary. This is getting very, very scary.
Oh,
If
dear.
you feel this is content worthy enough to pile together from your streams, where are the arguments?
Yeah,
You need to bring examples. Articulate yourself.
I'm
Not
trying
just,
to think.
"Oh, this is bad. This is bad. This is good. This is bad." Like, why?
I'm trying to think
Why?
I said-
W question.
outside of the One Piece author whose name I forgot. I apologize. That
Oda.
yeah, like, he's been around for so long, and he had not full control, but he had his fingers in the Netflix production, which you could tell as a result of the quality that came out of it. That he's one of the last few long-running mangakas that are still around.
He needs
Yeah,
to finish that thing.
Yeah, and who else do we have? Like, there's Naoko Takeuchi, but she's not writing any Sailor Moon, that as far as I know. So
No, she's helping. She's helping finish Hunter x Hunter.
oh yeah, oh wow,
Yeah.
that's great. I didn't know that. Well, there's so few of them late that have been this popular, have kept going, and they've stayed on brand. Berserk is still Berserk from 20 years ago with newer characters or more characters. So what she's complaining about is an issue of plot threads, and she doesn't like a certain subplot or a certain character that was not about revenge. So it's this bizarre thing that you can't have multiple plots in a story, which it's just
But the thing is, Mud, is that she's not explaining why. She's not making her point.
After fighting alone for 1/3 of the story, he has found a band again.
That's because we didn't heard you saying why Dorohedoro is better. And I'm afraid she will not explain why it's better.
it's strange. I don't know. It's just this is a very nuanced opinion. We don't usually get this watching these people. It's usually like, well, they're not gay enough, or there's a lack of romance, or this person is secretly trans, and you can tell because he wears orange or something like nonsense. Like just bizarre, silly things that we're just like, I don't know how to respond to that. That's the craziest thing I've heard. This is at least comes from somewhere. Like she might have read it somewhere or heard it somewhere. She took a elective and it had to be creative writing, and she was there for like one part of the week, and oh, that's a smart thing. I'll write that down. And she applied that to everything. And it's just the strangest way to evaluate manga, which is its own beast and its own creation and its own series of genres and subgenres. And it's not what you do. You should be smart enough and cognizant enough of what you're watching and reading. Say, hey, wait a second. This manga is different than all the other mangas I've read, even though those could also involve violence and sex and fantasy. The vistas are gigantically drawn. They're beautiful. Why is that? The characters are ornate and specific. Why is that? Like if you don't want to read a story about a witch, that's fine. But the shurikei stories are crazy and sad. So I don't know if that's not along the lines of revenge. I don't think so.
I would just disagree because I don't think her opinion is nuanced. I think her opinion is confusing. I don't know where she's going. Like, okay,
She doesn't
explain
understand what these other elements are for.
explain why or how
Yeah.
Berserk failed. You are not doing that. And like I said before, just because you are on a stream doesn't mean that you can make your point in a very clear way. And she's not doing that.
I know. It's just that the typical, James Baldwin quote, write a story as clean as a bone. It's like, I get that. I know what she's coming from. At least I hope so. And it's just as if you should apply that to everything. It's like, well, no, you don't apply that to everything. You have to be specific in what you're trying to convey. But you can do that with 12 characters. You can do it with 20 characters. You can do it with 3 characters. It's up to the nature of the story.
It's also important that when you divert from that stands out. And so that part that stands out better have a reason to stand out in that way and be relevant to stand out like that.
And manga
That's when you
has arcs.
in
any story.
anything when you make a diversion from your how you generally write your story. With techniques, with nuances, with do a filler thing. But when you do that, this is something that just because it's done differently, it stands out and therefore remains memorable. That's where you put something important. And that's why you can't have just this bland skeleton everywhere, because that's just the and then story. That's not the story. The story is all the little things around that.
Well, I vote we call it a night and I don't know, get some tea, relax, see what's on the news.
Are you finishing the video or not?
Well,
I want to see her point of Dorohedoro. Like, I want her to say why is better.
I don't think you're going to get
just
it.
let it go, Matthias.
I don't. I wish you. I mean, if you want to watch the rest of it by yourself, go right ahead. But I don't think you're going to find it.
I believe in her.
Really? You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure she's going to make
I'm sure she'll have a good point somewhere.
In the next 2 minutes, she's going to make a substantial point.
You want to go for another 2 minutes? Oh dear.
With that, I'm gonna take my leave because I have a hospital visit in 6 hours.
Oh wow. Okay, Mark.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys.
Yeah, I knew someone was gonna leave because this is like, oh boy, we're not going anywhere fast. Okay, 2 more minutes. That's a good plan. Let's stick with that.
Let's go.
Nice way to get started.
I agree that a lot of these manga, if they had just had a good editor, a good management, they would have been good. But like this, they're just celebrated because they had iconic arcs or one iconic arc.
No.
And then you stay loyal because of that arc.
No, he's also
it's called being a fan.
He's also amazing at drawing.
What? Well, first of all, Berserk has one amazing arc. We're talking about.
Arcs are all amazing.
They're all amazing. Yeah, exactly. What are you talking about? Secondly,
that's the sheep arc.
That's what a fandom is. If sometimes things aren't as great as they were before, if it's an actually good series, helmed by a good creator who gives a damn, people will stick around. That's what fandom used to mean. It doesn't mean that anymore in terms of TV shows and movies and stuff, because they get all handed around back and forth, passed around like the fucking village bicycle. But used to mean that series had some value to somebody that they cared about, which was the case with Berserk, by the way. Yeah.
And Aiden, I think I said that before you joined. What we have in Berserk is basically we have several acts, and every act is basically a different story because the entire world is different.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah, and she only likes one of those.
Yeah. I try to give.
She doesn't understand that this is just because you have different acts, it's still the same story.
Yeah.
So she fundamentally doesn't like the characters, I think. If she only likes one act, then fundamentally she doesn't like the characters of the world.
I think her philosophy is too focused on the premise being the focus of everything, and if it isn't, then therefore it's bad. So she might like, I don't know, the Band of the Hawk characters, but if it's not about revenge, she doesn't care. So
which it is a very bad.
It's not Band of the Hawk's arc. She doesn't care.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then just reread that.
I try to give the analogy of Final Fantasy VI, whereas it's the Empire versus the Returners, and then we learn more about the world, and then the world blows up, and then it's all about stopping Kefka from blowing up the world entirely. And like that's the natural progression of the world and the story.
Sure.
And that's what you expect. Oh, it's more than just a ragtag group of adventurers stopping the Empire. No, it's about saving existence. So that might be bombastic for most fantasy stories, but that's what you expect. So it's as if she's not read fantasy before, and it's like, hey, there's other stuff happening. There's more characters.
You want to know my opinion? I don't think she's read Berserk.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Just my honest opinion. When someone goes out of the gate with like a crazy opinion like this, I'm like, I don't think you've even read it. To be honest, I know that's like, oh, how dare you? How dare you? Of course I have. And I've been accused of that stuff too. Well, no, actually, no, I haven't. Sometimes somebody will come out of the fucking woodwork and say like, Aiden's a big fan of X, Y, Z, and then say, but she doesn't know about this, and I'll be like, oh, what would you like to know about that nerd thing? Because I know more about it than you've ever fucking forgotten. I know you read some fucking Wikipedia page, but don't get me fucked on this. So, I don't know. Maybe she's read Berserk, but it gives me that vibe. Maybe she just read something about this and then she's upset because that's how it reads to me. I don't know. Could be wrong.
Yeah. Okay, well, a minute and a half. We're good.
Let's go.
But if you're actually not blind,
Oh.
then you realize that they're actually not that good.
Oh my.
Wow, that's
That they
ableist.
strayed a lot.
Your
Is
eyes are
she
lying.
Okay, is
Yeah, that
she,
was
was
very
that a laugh
racist.
about she thinking it's bad, or was
Yeah.
that was she laughing about because she got away? She thinks she get away with a lie.
If only you were smart like me, you would know that this is crap. Like, okay. If only your taste buds were as good as
Everyone-
mine.
Everyone who
That was-
likes Berserk is either blind or wrong. apparently.
That was really
That was sad because Berserk is some of the most beautiful artwork in the genre that I've seen. And to say, if you're blind, well, the pictures are nice. It's like, at least say that. Say something like, oh, the action scenes are amazing. It's like, yeah, the first few chapters of action are really well drawn. So
Miura is a god with lighting.
those detailed backgrounds are insane. You could hang them up on your wall. They're gorgeous.
Miura's art is it's really amazing. You keep looking at like how the heck you did that?
Yeah, that must have taken days
Yeah.
just to do one panel. And you're like, holy shit, this guy's crazy. They have to ink that. Like, oh my God.
Especially Fantasia. I think Fantasia is when his art is like at peak Miura. Because the way he draws the city, the ancient Empire City, it's wow. Like
Oh
It's
god,
amazing.
that insane utopia control crap with the rails in the road for the carriages. That's such a good detail to show that this is a control freak town.
he was amazing. Like
That's such good visual storytelling.
that's why I agree that with Wisp that in the future, if not already, Berserk is on the Eastern canon, especially Japanese canon, because it's amazing.
Like I think it can since it is internationally known. I think it will go into the international canon because the Greek stories are certainly all over the West.
Yeah.
As what they are. So why not?
You
Berserk?
can add the Berserk and the Iliad and the Greek classics
Yeah.
on the
You
international
put
canon
Lord of the-
because
You put Lord of
because-
the Rings there. You put Berserk there.
Okay. Interesting.
and I believe Lord of the Rings is on the international canon too because it's basically the best book on the 20th century. No doubt about it.
Okay.
If you say it is another book, you're probably lying.
We'll take it for a graphic novel book. How's that?
Graphic novel. I thought about Watchmen or something from France. Maybe Inco.
France, really interesting.
Yeah.
The Franco-Belgian
it's
scene is very
because-
good. There's a lot of like really fun stuff comes out of there.
Great
Like
comic. I
Thank
get
you.
I can make a lot of fun of the French. You will never miss cheating on the French comics because they are amazing.
Yeah.
No,
we have to
the
admit that
French
the
comic scene
Franco-Belgian
is legitimately-
comics that is a whole nother world,
yeah.
and it is super
Especially
high quality.
Moebius.
The thing is that
is
they're
amazing.
usually much more expensive. That's why it's another reason why they're lesser. They're real products of art.
They are real products of art. I would agree with that. Franco-Belgian comics. I mean, when you say that, people just think Tintin, right? No.
Oh, he's no good.
It's
I
great.
know, but when you say Franco-Belgian, they say, "Oh, Tintin." Like, yes, but it's always like yes, but yes, Tintin, but also some really truly amazing, as I would agree, works of art have come out of the Franco-Belgian scene that no one in the West outside of the Franco-Belgian scene is largely aware of.
Yeah.
Which is
And
unfortunate.
it was big in Germany. It still has a good following, but since these things are rather expensive, the scene Israel is equally small.
If you want to get on French comics, I would generally recommend Moebius. Moebius is great. Moebius include if you guys like Moebius.
Moebius is
Moebius.
fantastic, yes, of course. Yeah.
He did a story with Stan Lee to the Silver Surfer. whatever your opinion on the what who Stanley is, I would definitely recommend it as an entrance to Mobius. Then you go and read the Mobius on comics.
Yeah, Mobius is a fantastic example. I mean, Asterix and Obelix is the other one. Like, it's like Asterix, Obelix, and Tintin are the two that you get often. Like, when you say Frank Asterix in comics,
those are
they were like
DuckTales
Asterix and Obelix and Tintin. Like, no. Expand beyond that for more European comics, and obviously
you
Asterix
can also. Tyler Preston said on the chat, if you want to enter in the French comics, you can go get Eric, because Eric comics from France is great too.
Yeah,
my brother have here too. I read it already.
But it's also been it's not quite comics, but I remember when what was that game that came out, that Franco-Belgian game that had a cartoon associated with it and everything.
I don't think I would remember.
Oh shoot! I'll remember it, but it was like a cartoon and everything associated with it. It's related to an MMO. And it had like really good art all associated with it. It was really nice. There was a lewd picture with a duck. That's not gonna help. If I think of duck, lewd, Franco.
That does sound French.
It is. Cartoon. Duck, lewd, Franco-Belgian. I'll find it in a second. It's.
I want to know.
There was a duck. There was a girl in a bathtub, and then like a little plastic duck.
I'm gonna search it too.
Oh, of course you are.
I don't know about
Wakfu. It's Wakfu.
Oh,
Wakfu. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I liked Wakfu a lot.
I watched the anime, and
Me too.
I mean, not anime,
I liked the brown cat girl.
Animation.
It was hot.
And I think only the first and second season are good. I don't like the rest of it.
It was fine. I liked Wakfu though. I thought it was a fun series. Let's watch this.
Remember, the game was shit. I remember
the game was shit. The game sucked a little bit. I tried to play it a bit. I didn't like it.
All right.
Bitch. Here's the bitch.
I just had connection issues.
Made them good is completely lost. That there was something completely different, and maybe if it was a separate manga,
really,
then it would have been good. But within that manga that it started
I don't like that
it's
she looks like it could be related. That upsets
when you
me.
compare
that she looks what?
She could be my sister.
Oh boy.
We look very similar. That upsets me. We look very similar. Now, I know it might not be super evident because I have my hair bleached for forever, but this bitch has very similar facial features to me. That's unfortunate for her. Sorry, bitch. Sorry you were also born this way.
At least you're good and
you got AIDS.
You got AIDS. AYD.
Oh, she's part Irish, right?
Past and what it is now, then it's not good.
Why?
If you can really say that what it is now, it's really bad compared to what it was in the past.
Oh.
You said that 15 million times, though. Can you give us examples, please? I know she's not Irish. Irish word is that's the Schwaben.
Yeah, explain why it's a bad thing, but you can't.
She can't either because she didn't read or because she doesn't understand Berserk. Like,
I think it's both. One, she doesn't care because she only cares about like a political message. Two, she hasn't read Berserk. Three, she doesn't care, and she's just out for a political message.
The only other explanation is that she expects us to mind read, and since women love to expect people to mind read, Aiden, can you mind read her?
I can't mind read you, bitch. I don't understand what the fuck you think inside your head. Sorry, Emmy.
There's a thing that I want.
Why do they all expect to mind read then?
I don't. I've never been able to find an answer to that question, by the way, as to why women expect mind reading. I mean, like, you can't ask me. Well, that's not true. Usually, you can't ask me for answers to questions like that because I read research on it. But no, I don't have data on that. I don't know why women do this. It's like, you didn't understand what I was thinking inside my own head. What?
Well,
I'm supposed to figure that one out.
Women.
Can't you see what I'm thinking?
Well, I don't get it either because I'm autistic, so I don't get it either, right? So I'm also on like the
Okay,
fucking
that
outside
explains
looking
everything.
in, trying to be like, why are you like this? I also don't understand. I'm supposed to figure out what the fuck you want me to think? With my own female friends, it's been like that. It's like, Aiden, didn't you know that that's how you were supposed to respond? It's like, no. Why? Why would I know what you think inside your head without you telling me? Insane. This is woman fucking behavior, bro.
Lost Children arc, I hate the Lost Children arc. It's so dumb. It's so useless. Why was it there? Why does it exist? What was
I can hear Mark screaming in the distance right now.
The Lost Children arc had a really big, important impact on the story of Berserk. What does she mean? She isn't like the Lost Children arc.
I went over that before. It also gives us it shows us
Guts is the person.
The level of humanity in the demons.
Yes, and in the demons, yeah, right.
And it also introduces us to the Holy Sea.
It's an incredibly important arc. But of course it doesn't matter to her, because she just wants some kind of resolution instantaneously.
Yeah, and
I
think
that's what I get.
And the other thing I said before you were there is also by showing us how much humanity is in the demons, there is a spark left. It also shows us the contrast to Griffith, who has absolutely none.
Right, but there's no humanity left in Griffith. Yes.
Or even with Guts, because on the Lost Children, he's full on Beast of Darkness. Like, he does not care.
But it's a fascinating look into Guts' psychology, that whole arc.
Yeah.
It's really important, I think, to understanding Guts. It's important to understanding the world. It's important to understanding Griffith. But she can't get it. Because what? Did it not lay it out clear enough for you? You would have had to have thought a little bit. Maybe that's a problem, lady.
It's
you're watching
so
this,
nice that Berserk is not verbose about everything. That it is actually
I think
implying between the lines and telling through the visuals.
Yes, it's
wonderful.
There's visual and it's largely visual storytelling, which to me says that she didn't fucking read it, right?
Or she has no capacity for any
doesn't
empathy in order
understand.
to figure these things out.
Or
She
to me,
probably
it reads
doesn't-
like she read the Wikipedia, right? So she didn't have any of the emotional connection. She's like, "Oh yeah, I read Berserk because I read a Wikipedia article about it." That's how this reads to me. I could be wrong. But that's the read it gives to me.
Like I said,
Well.
either she doesn't understand or either she didn't read. Like, if it is
Yeah,
both,
either she doesn't understand or she didn't read it. It's one or the other. Clearly.
I'm leaning more with the didn't read at this point.
Yeah.
This is kind of like people who
said it was the best.
look at 2016 and look at the animation. They go, "Oh yeah, that never happened. That never occurred."
like
So
if she wanted dark fantasy, Lost Children.
And what a weird thing to bring up, Lost Children, right? What a weird thing to bring up. I'm shocked by that, actually. A little bit.
Lost Children is that is the perfect Brothers Grimm fairy tale.
It is. It's so
Yeah,
yeah.
it is.
In terms of a total arc. Yeah.
And it's the one arc that still hasn't been animated.
oh, you're right.
And if
Because
there is
it's
something that
fucked.
isn't
I would imagine
that is
it's-
dark
Oh, yeah,
fantasy, it is Grimm's fairy tale.
Yeah, we're gonna turn elves into demons and then kill them all. It's like, oh, that might not work out too
For
well
fun.
for the
I mean, it would be
censors.
fun, but
We play war by.
there's some really
each
fucked
other.
up stuff in that arc.
Oh yeah.
Yes, there is.
So-
There's a lot of fuck ups in that arc.
I mean, some really
Yeah.
questionable
Yeah.
things.
It's how you do allegory right.
Just one word. Fake elves.
Still though.
I don't need to.
I find
don't
it
need,
odd that she just glasses over that. Because I don't think, in my opinion, and I know this is speculative, we've talked about this, but obviously just a minute ago, I don't think she's read any of it. I don't even think she's watched any of it. I think this is like secondhand opinion she's gotten from Reddit and Wikipedia. But that's
Or
just my-
people who were already shitting on the series on
Yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
and just watched those videos and like, oh, I can make
Yeah.
a video on this.
Which is not smart, bitch. Not smart.
People think it's okay. No, everyone I know is like, when are we gonna get the Lost Children arc animated? Oh my god,
Yeah,
we need the
we're
Lost
asking.
Children arc animated. One of the best arcs ever.
Yes.
Think about it.
Question.
Berserk has 3 anime adaptations.
If you want to stop, you can just hit the pause button in the lower left.
Yep. Yeah, I want to hear you answer this. Okay, Berserk has 3 animated adaptations. Where's the Lost Children arc?
Adaptations in general. And 1997 anime, then the movies, and then the 2016 onwards anime.
That didn't
So
happen.
the Lost Children arc had 3 chances to get animated. If 3 separate productions decided it was just so dumb and useless,
No.
Was
It
dumb?
wasn't because
That's not
it
the
was
reason.
useless.
It was dumb?
It's not the reason they don't want to animate.
It's too
because
dark is why they won't animate it.
It's too much of the thing you apparently want. And
Which is what exactly
the
what
censors are like, we can't sell this. We can't sell products with this. No one's going to want to like sell, I don't know, candy
No
to kids.
What a
No
stupid
one-
thing to say. It's too dumb. That's why they won't animate it? You idiot. You stupid woman. You stupid woman. No, it's because it's too dark. But you keep saying that like Berserk is so dark. I love how dark it is. Why don't you want them to animate the Lost Children arc then? Oh, because you've not read it. You have no idea what the fuck happens in it.
No,
Oh my
it's the-
god.
Hey,
Oh
hey,
my
Andy,
god. What
there's-
what a
she
fucking
said-
I Okay. I'm gonna take a little second here just to explain myself for a second. Up until when I was much younger, I did occasionally get called a poser when I would like show up to like comic book shops to play like Magic the Gathering or buy comic books or whatever. I literally was called a poser a couple times to my face. I had somebody walk up to me one time while I was at a comic shop, and this was like in like 2010, 2009, like at the peak of Marvel when it was really popping off after post Iron Man, and asked me who my favorite inker was. And I said, well, it depends on the comic. And then they got offended by that. And it was kind of like some autist who just like got offended. It's the only, in my entire life, as someone who's also cosplayed my entire life, that I've had someone walk up to me and try to like catch me on some shit. Being like, oh, I'm going to find you. You're not a real geek girl or some shit like that. Happened one time in a comic book shop in 2010, right? And then he just walked away because he said, well, depends on what the art is. Depends on the comic. I don't know. What's my favorite anchor? Depends on the comic. He had no idea how to, because he thought like, oh, I'll get you on who's your favorite anchor, right? Because no one cares about anchors, okay? Just be honest.
Only if you are a creator of comics or autistic, because no one knows the name of the inkers, even though they.
Yeah.
Even though I can recognize some inkers are better than others.
Sure, but it was intended
really
to be
stands
like
out.
it was kind of like this guy like, and I'd seen him before in the shop, and it was just that he was like, oh, there's a woman who keeps showing up here every week, so I'm gonna like fuck with her a little bit, and that guy's like that guy probably is like some kind of weird incel, and that's actually not even like an insult on him either, but he had some kind of thing in his head where he's like, I'm gonna prove this woman wrong, and then. By the way, if you'd walked up to pretty much any other woman, you probably would have been right, bitch. Like you probably would have been right, but you walked up to me on accident. So sorry.
The strange thing about that, Aiden, is that while I would like to say something like, "Oh, every comic shop has that one guy,"
it does.
I can't say that because the comic shops I've been in Germany, since I've been able to, because in my hometown didn't have one.
Did
because
you guys have
Germany
that
10 years
didn't
ago,
have
man?
anything. Yeah, but 10 years ago is even less of an excuse. The comic shops here are frequented by both sexes almost equally.
Yeah, that's always in my experience.
Different reasons, but like this, it's just completely silly.
Yeah, that's always in my experience. But yeah.
University, we have
I've been told my whole, but my point was, I've been told my whole life, right? I've been told by feminists that I'm not allowed within the comic book fandom because I'm a woman, and that the comic fans would be very antithetical to me. Whereas my experience has been everything but. It has been antithetical to that. In fact, antithetical to their antithesis is that men want women to be interested in comic books. Duh.
Yeah, and
no shit.
Especially,
but they want them to actually be interested in comic books, not in terms of being like, "Hey, I don't actually care
Well-
about anything that you like. I just want to put my own bullshit in here, and then you have to read it. That's the difference.
And especially here, where we had the Franco-Belgian stuff at all times, now we have manga on top. That was always going for both sexes.
Yeah,
That was,
of course.
That was not something that was like, specifically marketed to boys.
Yeah, the
and
Franco-Belgian stuff in particular, like you said, that was always unisex,
lot-
I would say.
Yeah, and there's a lot of female artists and writers there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to say that there isn't brilliant artists on the indie scene in the United States, which for me it's the only place if you want to have good American comics, you go to the indies. Like,
All right. Well, we're going to keep
Amazing
going,
art, amazing
apparently. So here's Legacy of the $4.99. Thank you, sir. If someone says to me that if Hulk's development to Professor Hulk was skipped over because the original comic was bad, I'll get a shotgun.
Apparently, right?
Okay.
Just skip over it.
now you can get a shotgun.
I mean, to be fair, Hulk into Professor Hulk was kind of lame.
I only like
liked it, but-
Professor Hook. I don't like Professor Hook because he was on the Marvel Superheroes game.
I like Professor Hulk personally, but I can understand why people wouldn't like Professor Hulk.
Not in the movies.
No, I can understand why people, but I don't
I'm talking about
understand
movies, I'm not talking about comics.
MCU Professor Hulk. Like, he's not at all like Professor Hulk, because in the comics he's kind of like the badass who wants to punch everyone. The science.
Yeah, the whole thing is that he's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's it.
Yeah.
Like he always wants to let the Hulk out, but he can't in terms of him like his aggression. But he can't.
And MCU Professor Hulk is just Mark Ruffalo being Mark Ruffalo.
It's just Mark
Yeah.
Ruffalo. Yeah,
It's just Mark Ruffalo.
getting bullied by that
original-
bitch and She-Hulk. Whatever her
The
name was.
original Professor Hulk who fights the Maestro. It's way better than the MCU Professor Hulk. And I don't know if they will do Maestro in the MCU. Because if you guys don't know, Maestro is the Hulk from the future that conquers the
Yeah.
world. It's kind of a mess, but it's an arc that I like because how goofy it is.
I like
I
it
don't
too.
But I don't know if they will do the Maestro
I
arc.
don't know. I mean, that would be fun. I guess the one thing I could say about my comic experience is that, I said that I started reading in like about 2008, I think is when I really started reading comic books, even though I'd always liked them. But then I had a great comic shop guy who told me, like, here's all the things you need to read, Becca. Like, here's all the things that you should read. And I went and read all of it. And I bought the books from him. And I bought all that stuff. I spent every spare dime that I had when I was in college, I spent buying comic books. Old comic books, not new stuff, even at that point. Just comic books. So I've read fucking everything. Not everything, but I've read a whole lot. And it makes me sad to see the absolute state of things now. It's so antithetical to how I came up into it. Thanks. Let's watch this, I suppose.
Let's watch her last minutes.
Okay.
Adaptation, and it should tell you all you need to know. It's a useless arc that doesn't need an adaptation because it's just
Why?
useless.
You're dumb.
Why is it useless?
3
Explain.
separate occasions, and it never
Explain.
got adapted.
I like the function
Explain why,
argument. I like the argument that you want something to have a function in a story. That's good. But
Could she not explain why though? Because she's just saying it's useless.
Yeah.
Did she have an explanation as to why it shouldn't be
She's
adapted?
only making accusations.
That's how you know
all
that
accusations.
it's not a good story. Like, that's not a
No,
good arc.
no, it's too dark.
Every Berserk arc to me was at least a 9 out of 10, except the Black Swordsman arc, which was
Really?
like a 7 out of 10.
Really?
Honestly,
Black Swordsman 7 out of
Golden
10?
Age arc and then the Black Swordsman arc, because at least the
If you said that about the ship, okay, but
Yeah, sure. If 7 out of 10 above a ship, sure. If ship is 1, yeah, okay. Then Black Swordsman is 7.
an arc it still makes sense. Like, it's still part of the main plot, part of the main story. It was the beginning of
You
it
just
all.
talked shit about other parts of the main
It was
plot.
what we were given as a reader first. And then, the flashback to see how we got to that present that we were given first. The rest is just fucking chaos.
so flashbacks are okay? Is that what I understand?
Flashbacks are okay unless to not Children's Crusade. What was the arc we were talking about? Damn.
Lost Children.
Well, yeah. So that arc doesn't deserve to ever be animated. But okay,
It doesn't deserve to be animated because it was never animated.
because it was never animated. What a bizarre! Yeah, you're right. What a bizarre roundabout logic. It doesn't deserve to be animated because so far it's not been animated.
It's not being animated because it's useless. Sad this
Because
girl.
it's not been animated. What
Some
the fuck kind
European
of argument is
chicks-
that?
Some
Crazy.
European chick said the Lost Ark Children is useless.
Lost Children arc. Yeah, sorry.
Like
What? What kind of argument is that?
All right.
it's not an argument. That's
No
the problem.
fucking clue what he wanted to do with Berserk.
Maybe you should have read it.
So yeah, like Swordsman was just too edgy for the sake of it. Yeah, I know. But
It's the bikini.
it
of
was
the story.
following.
Have you seen Guts as a kid? You think he wasn't edgy then?
Good question.
He was born from a tree of
This
corpses.
man was born edge.
His mom was hanging, and he was born.
Yeah, it was
That's
pretty
why-
aggressive. It's like
And that
it's
is
one of
why
those-
that is why he deserves to carry the greatest edge.
it's one of the darkest, like most fucked up series ever made, and you're like, that's too dark for me. What? Okay.
Yeah, but it's every
That-
piece of
that's because
darkness
we're-
in that has a reason. It's not just there to be dark and edgy.
Exactly. It's not
All
just there to
that-
be. That would be George R.R. Martin's way of doing it. In Berserk, it has a reason, is a purpose for being that dark and fucked up.
Yeah, and then you got Puck flying through, giving you a little breather. Like,
Mhm,
oh.
mhm.
Okay, thank you, Puck.
All right.
Well,
Muta was just following trends at the time.
Really?
No,
Really?
He's just following trends, edgy,
trends?
Wow.
lone wolf, doing revenge, being brutal.
The whole story's revenge. I thought that's what you
Yes.
wanted.
this is
What an
this
is
insulting thing
violent
to
to-
say.
this is not violent, Jack.
This was the 90s,
what-
right?
No.
Yes.
Berserk came out in the 80s.
80s. Okay.
It
What
is.
It
was-
was the 90s to the 80s to the 90s, yeah. He was just following trends?
What was the revenge stories
even
of
though
the 80s?
Berserk, even though the Edge protagonist is from Berserk, like every mangaka that made an Edge
Yes.
character,
Took
they're all
from
from
Berserk.
Berserk.
I can't.
I can't believe she would say something so stupid.
I said the only one that was older than that was Vampire Hunter D, but that was a
Oh.
different kind of edge.
A very different type of protagonist, though, in Vampire Hunter D, comparatively to Guts.
I'm trying to think of the 80s.
Oh, so
What-
everybody, so, excuse me, so Berserk, which had been running for 20 years before, like, all modern manga, ripped off all modern manga and anime? You fucking dozy bint?
I'm thinking.
go ahead.
I'm thinking Fist of
The
the North
90s
Star.
had a lot of
That's pretty
lot of
old.
rip-offs.
That was long running. That had a bit of revenge in it, I think.
Sure, but
what-
the fact that she claims that Berserk ripped off anybody is the most insane thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I'm trying to what else was revenge plot focused? I just can't think
Also-
of.
The only thing that I can think of that was revenge plot focus was JoJo's.
JoJo, but
which
JoJo has
one?
multiple different plots, not all of which are revenge based.
Yeah.
And which was
Yeah.
directly influenced, if you were to ask Araki, in some ways, on fucking goddamn Berserk.
Isn't this what she wanted? Why she's-
Like Araki based a lot of his shit by his own words on Berserk, not on. I mean, he also based it on fashion models and all kinds of other stuff. Araki's a weird guy, but he based a lot of JoJo on Berserk by his own admission.
Berserk and
Go look it up.
Fist of the North Star.
Yeah.
Also those-
What a like don't talk why would I always
It's
find
like-
it weird when people have this idea of talking with authority about things when they don't know anything about it. It's like, oh well, I just feel like I know.
It's
like,
like somebody complaining that Lord of the Rings is ripping off fantasy.
Yeah, so some woman made a video about reacting to my video that I was watching last night. And I was watching it, and her video about my video. And I was astonished because I watched, it's a 2.5 hour long video responding to my 1.5 hour long video, or 2 hour long video. She didn't actually respond to a single thing I said in my entire video. She didn't respond to a single thing I said. She just paused and then talked about her life. And I was like,
Okay.
what the fuck is this? Is this actually could this even be considered legitimate response content? Because you're not responding to my video. You're agreeing with the things that I'm saying, even though you said that you don't. I can see that you're like shaking your head, agreeing with things that I'm saying because it's research. It's not like my opinion, it's just data. You're like, oh yeah. And then she just goes off.
That is response content, but it's very low tier.
And then she just goes off and talks about her own life. Yeah.
Yeah. Response content doesn't necessarily need to disagree with what's being said.
No, I don't think that's true.
Like
But she didn't respond to me. She just kind of like paused the video and then was like, "Let me complain about my life now for another 20 minutes."
Oh, she didn't engage in any way with your video.
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird.
I didn't. That's why I was like, "What is this?" Like, you watched my video for like an hour or 30 minutes, and then you pause and go, "Let me explain why my life sucks." I'm like, okay, that's cool or whatever, but I don't think it's actually transformative. I'm not going to do anything about it. She can keep it up on her channel. She's fine.
All right.
I'm not going to claim it or some shit like an asshole.
Here is Sadie Inward. She's
yeah, but still.
She's so smug yet so wrong. It's excruciating to listen to. As bad as Marvel's character assassinations in comic and movies are, I think DC does it worse. Like when they turned Tim Drake from Robin to Throbbin. Or Joker pregnant? What?
Yeah,
they had Joker give birth.
Oh god, no! I thought the image had left my head. Now it's back.
No, it's back in your mind now. It's back in my mind, so it's back in yours now as well. They made the Joker.
I'm lost. I'm lost.
I don't want to know anymore.
Don't worry about it.
There was literal M-Preg in DC Comics. Yes, you're welcome.
Oh.
No, it's not much different than what Marvel Comics recently put out, where
Oh yeah, full-time Mystique. Yeah.
Mystique is literally giving birth to a butt baby, that being Nightcrawler, and through her ass, because there's no other way, via the image that she could be giving birth other than through her butthole.
I thought it was
no. Mystique didn't get pregnant. She impregnated.
She impregnated herself.
Oh,
yes.
Come on.
No. She impregnated Destiny.
Oh right. Yeah. No. It was both ways. Both Mystique and Destiny impregnated each other. They did it right. Please. Let's get that correct. And Mystique gave birth to Nightcrawler in a fantabulous new very special issue where
Destiny gave birth to Rogue.
And Destiny gave birth to Rogue. Yes, you're right. Welcome to New Marvel. Mystique and Destiny fucked each other as women with no PPs involved, and both got preggers and gave birth. Well, Mystique gave birth through her anus, apparently, to Nightcrawler.
This is just low-tier stuff you find on fanfiction fetish sites. That's all Marvel is now.
Yep,
it's just low-tier
it's low-tier fanfic. You're right. Describe that.
Not even fanfiction. It's fetish fiction.
Okay. Well,
look, I cannot believe that Mystique can grow a dick, but I don't know how Destiny can.
Somehow, Destiny Mystique. That's okay. I will tell you. They've said, I've been told by people on Twitter who know a lot about this because they're very invested, that because Mystique can change form, she can grow a PP and impregnate other women.
Somehow make haploid gametes?
Yes, but also make babies in her butt. I've been told this by Twitter people, and they're very serious about it, so I believe the Twitter people, that Mystique can impregnate another woman and also make a baby inside of her bum.
Well, that's very...
This is the plus point that we have
to give
how much
I want to kill myself.
That's even worse.
Let's go back to the girl rambling about Berserk.
I'd like to go back to that as well.
I want you to make that point. Nightcrawler is not even her son. It's her clone.
Doesn't matter. He's blue, therefore he must be Mystique's son.
He's just constipation now. So, and this is the credit we have to give this girl here, because she at least doesn't tell us that anyone should be gay.
Oh, really?
No, it's the next video. The next video, because she have a video on Griffith.
Oh, oh no.
So long as she's not talking about Persona 4, I'm okay. I swear every third month it's like, oh, another Persona 4 video. What? Oh, yep, same topic. Okay.
Oh, Kanji is gay, even though you never played the game and never understood his story.
Wait, what's the general tangent against Persona 4?
Oh, Kanji's gay, Naoto's trans, and therefore all the other Shadows selves are real. Therefore, Rise wants to be
real versions.
Yeah,
of
Rise.
the characters.
Well, that has to be because because Kanji is obviously a flaming homosexual, and Naoto just wants to butcher herself into whatever. And therefore, Rise wants to be a stripper. Chie wants to dominate her best friend because she's jealous.
How unbelievable.
Yeah.
This would be the good version of the story.
I don't know. It's just amazing that I missed that playing through the game several times. So
yeah, well, I've also played through the game several times, and not the message I got from
apparently
Persona
literal
4, but
interpretation
okay.
of the TV land. Everything happens there. Is
Certainly
real.
interesting. Yeah. TV land's maybe gotten them a little bit.
And my armchair take on that is that all these people who make these stances, who adore these shadows, they're Dark Tetrad people who adore their own shadows.
Of course.
Because it's the only place where they see any power for themselves in life.
It really, it flabbergasts me. I was thinking about this earlier. Talking about comic books, right? I said that, my favorite superhero, as everybody knows, if you know me, because I have it on my t-shirt on my little avatar, is Daredevil. Well, Daredevil is a blind, ginger, lawyer man. What do I have in common with him in terms of the boxes checked? Absolutely nothing. And yet I still like the character. I still identify with the character. You were going to bed in a second, Phil. I'm going to have to go to sleep here soon. But what I've always found curious is that why is it that, like, that's not unusual? Or is that supposed to be unusual that I identify with a blind man? Sorry, Bill's having a piss. I don't know why it's supposed to be weird.
Aiden, do you know about the Lego study?
Which?
Okay, bad question. The one where they figured out how to market to girls.
What is?
Lego struggled marketing to girls because they didn't understand the psyche right. So they made a big study. And in that study, they learned that the way boys play with Lego or play in general.
Oh, yeah. Remember the study, yeah.
Yeah, okay, you know what I'm getting at. The boys play with, with characters by wanting to learn about the characters and actually role play the characters. Let the characters do what they would do. And when the girls play with any characters, they don't actually care what those characters do. What they're about would do. They instead project themselves onto the character and just play dollhouse, and everybody has to follow my marionette strings.
Yeah, which I've never been able to personally understand, but I mean, that Hasbro study has been particularly interesting. That was a Hasbro study.
Yeah, and now take that and think about the SJW writing that we see in Hollywood.
Yeah, here it is. There it is. It's just, this is me. This is who I am, and I have no interest in having any kind of relationship with other
all these
human
characters have to be me.
Yeah, they all have to be me. Which
they make her a black woman. They make her lame.
I'm just saying, personally, as a woman, it doesn't make sense to me because I don't have this drive. But apparently, this is a common woman drive.
I think that's the
this.
autism saving you from it.
Yeah, I guess so. But like, because I don't have this, whatever this fucking weird drive is to make everybody me. I don't want to be me. I want to be somebody else. I want to be Monkey. I just, I don't understand this drive whatsoever. I'm going to go to sleep here in a second, guys. But like, before I go to bed, because Belle's about to go to bed, I don't understand this drive. I want to be basically anybody but me.
Yeah,
I mean, I
the
like
thing
being
is,
me too. Like that's fine. But in terms of media and fiction, if I'm talking about identifying with a character, yeah, I want to not be me. And the character that I identify the most with in all of comic book media is Daredevil. He's a man. He's blind. He's a lawyer. He's ginger. He's Catholic. He's absolutely nothing that I am. I mean, this is the character that I identify with the most.
And I at first thought that this projection writing was linked to emotional immaturity, and maybe there is something to it. But when I saw that study, well, it's little kids playing like that. They have no emotional maturity, so that can't be it.
Yeah, in that case it was, but still, it's kind of fascinating because data still are. That there's all these people who have absolutely no real capacity to like figure out who they are as people. Anywho, I'm gonna head out for the night, guys. I gotta go to bed. It's too late. Bill's coming to sleep.
Good call.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Good have a good night.
Thanks for coming on.
Bye, guys.
See you.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye, bye.
Cheers.
All right. Are we going to continue or are we going to go to bed too? 'Cause this is painful.
No, let's go to memes.
All right. Well, there's one from Gigaman Prime. Thank you, sir, for the $5. And I don't know why you're not on, but that's fine. That's cool. We're basically at the point where any mention of bullshit that isn't in Persona 4 very easily sets them off. Just like if you tell them that you haven't played Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, spoiler alert, I haven't. Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean you haven't played Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines? Why the hell haven't you played that?
Go play Giga, man.
How many times have I said, if you know me and you talk to me and you want to play it and you haven't played, like, what is stopping you? Do I have to go buy? Do I have to gift it to you on Steam? Is this the problem? Like, you just don't have enough Steam games to play? Is it?
Gifted DRM3 on GOG.
Yeah.
Do I have to like buy it for everyone? Like, is that the like?
I got it. You don't have to worry about me.
Like, guys, it's been decades. Come on.
And the rules is you do the second run is Malkavian. Remember that rule.
I think that's a good rule. Yes. I think you need to you play whatever you want, just figure it out, and then second time Malkavian. Yeah, I think that's the best idea. Anyway, yeah, we should go to memes. I got to work out. I got to do other stuff. Anyway, okay, let's do it. She's not helping any argument. She's continued with, so I don't think we're gonna learn anything from her. That's fine. Everyone's got their thing.
If she after 10 minutes couldn't make a point, I'm not. We can't expect it anymore.
Exactly.
Like she got enough. She got way enough room for that.
Okay, here we go.
Wasted.
Here we go. We get. Oh, this is a Christmas version of the God Hand. Oh my God.
Void. I like Void.
This is Saber, I think. And she's ice skating? What the hell is... Why are we seeing this? What does this have anything to do with...
It's Padoru.
Padoru.
It's Christmas time.
Okay. Oh, dear God. Oh, that is just too much. I just noticed the symbol. Oh, my God. The mark. Oh, God.
Andrew Griffin.
Okay, that one's pretty funny. Oh my goodness.
Mucho testo.
Yeah. No, please, Mommy, don't tell Guts I don't want to eat my vegetables. I already told him, son. And what did he say? He said you are responsible for your own choices as long as you're willing to suffer the consequences of them, whether good or bad.
Testo.
And if it's bad,
it's too much text.
then you have the strength to overcome it and move on. Okay. Still eat your vegetables. They're good for you. Bye, sis. What the...
God.
That kind of reminded me of Paradise Kiss. And I was like, that can't... Nope, not the same.
Why would you put so much work into this?
Yeah. Here, have a...
It's evil guts.
Have a bang? What the hell is a bang?
I don't know.
Is that an energy drink? I can't tell. People who like Griffith. People like,
exactly.
People like Guts. Yeah. Fuck Griffith.
Yeah.
The 80s. That's what I get when I see this.
That's what everyone wants to do, just to run over Griffith.
This video is so bereft of examples that nothing you say has any substance whatsoever. Elaborate. That's from Ciclet, that guy who defends Griffith. And she replied.
Credit.
Oh wow.
Credits where credits due.
Well, obviously he was going to defend Berserk because he loves Berserk, but these are two crazy people talking. So who cares?
Look, broken clock is right twice a day.
Okay. Why is it there are people that insist to make queer icons out of supervillains?
I noticed that too. Like there's, especially with Scar from
They did it to Pennywise.
What? Why?
They decided Pennywise is an LGBT icon. Like
How?
You couldn't make that up. The pedophile alien demon clown.
It doesn't make any sense. Okay.
I think it makes a lot of sense, but hey, it's they saying it, not us.
How I view other anime as a devil fan. Devilman, medieval Devilman, Devilman's daddy, harem Devilman. What?
Andy Devilman, Kaiju Devilman, Ninja Devilman, and one is Bad Devilman because Evangelion is forever.
I don't know what that means. Le Mon. He eats a lemon? Oh, lemon. Oh, I thought Le Mon. I was like, what the hell is the Mon?
He's saying Le Mon.
Yeah, like the monster, or I don't know what's the thing he's biting into a lemon. Like, oh, duh. You read Berserk, me too. Casca enjoyed it. Griffith did nothing wrong. Kirito is the troop. Oh my god. Berserk will be taking a break starting next issue. Serialization is planning to resume this winter. Please look forward to it.
I'll be honest, I thought this guy was a demon from the start.
Females.
Oh.
Like a true Ferengi.
Yes. Heartbreaking. The worst person you know just made a great point. Oh.
Yeah. It was like that.
I've got a plan. Just have a little faith.
Fantasia.
Walle, Wasserfließe, das zum Bade sich ergieße.
I don't speak Spanish.
Oh, there's the Giga Chad. Yep.
This video is the proof that women were gods resistant.
Oh God.
Listen, Eve was duped, okay?
Matthew says that was the poem that Fantasia is based on.
Oh. Okay. We're not going to quote. What is this? Make America Great Again. Who is that?
Isaiah Dean.
It's her? Okay, I had no idea. What we got here? Fan art. She has fan art. Okay, fine.
Of course she has fan art.
I'll leave that be. Hero who goes around slaughtering everyone. He's just Kirby. Fairy tale friend. Yeah. Beautiful rival who wants to be king and everyone falls in love with. Are you okay? I mean, maybe.
No, I don't know if anyone fell in love with King DDD.
Yeah.
Dude, have you seen him? He's ripped.
Okay.
No, he's fat.
For Aiden Pal, another one. Happy holidays, people.
Oh, that's Mark Waid. That's Mark Waid's run. The only thing that's good about that run is the shirt. Everything is so goofy and bad.
Nothing is filler in Berserk. Everything serves to give context and world building. Yeah, true. Every arc has ideas that will be explored in future arcs. Those kids in Lost Children deserved it. Maybe after the fact, but not before. Mura talks how he had ideas of the story. Okay, and you took that formative experience and put it into the sprawling original fantasy world of Berserk. When did you come up with that idea? How much did you plan out at the point? I'd hardly thought any of it out at first. I had no idea how far I'd be able to run with that original idea for the manga, and I really hadn't come up with the idea of the Band of the Hawk at all. Aside from the monster-slaying Black Swordsman, I had this idea that it'd be easier to give him something to fight if I added the element of revenge to it, and that was about it. And that's during that arc, and then he had to fill in the blanks, and he did a good job. It's like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, you start from somewhere. Wheel of Time also wasn't thought out completely at the beginning. He just wrote the first book and wanted to see if he could write one, and well, it worked well enough.
Counterpoint to Aiden's sightings statistics. How do you respond to that change that petty vandalism such as graffiti is down 80%, while heavy sack beatings are up a shocking 900%? Oh, people can come up with statistics to prove anything, Kent. 40% of all people know that. Thanks. Me at 3 a.m. looking for beans? What are you doing at 3 a.m.? Anyway. Mira on how he was building up story and guts. I'm not going to read all that, but...
You can read it if you want.
No. You guys can read it yourself, but he obviously thought about it a lot.
I was talking to chat. If they want to read it, they can go on
okay.
the Discord.
I don't know what happened in chat, guys. I wasn't paying attention, but you guys were leaving your messages, I assume.
Just read Giga Shed.
Her physiognomy?
No, the first one.
So what you're saying is no doesn't necessarily mean no. What?
She was saying that women likes that people try to read their minds.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to read all these guys. There's too many. Way too many. See, look at that crazy artwork. That's insane. Amazing stuff. Guts.
Read the Mythology. 5 words.
Negative. The dark, fractured human Yin Jagan. What is this? At long last, a new power has been obtained, but not without a heavy price. Interesting.
Only people who plays Paradox game will understand this.
Yeah, it's like, what is happening? Guys
with autism.
I'm 19 years old and autistic. Guys with autism.
Makes the German Empire. I see that that they destroyed the Austro-Hungary Empire there, because Hungary and Yugoslavia are big.
Sweden's just we're just chilling up the north.
It's an end to the Balkanization problem.
No, because the if it was Balkanization, Yugoslavia wouldn't exist.
This is great. Gentlemen, it is with great regret and displeasure to inform you that women.
Useless.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Amazing, cool artwork.
Oh.
Love it.
Oh, God.
Don't look. This is next meme is the thing we were talking about.
I spend so much time on these Miura panels because it's just so much to look at, take in.
Right in front of my brick of heroin? What? Guys. Smud, when somebody says they haven't played Vampire the Masquerade, yes, I get really excited. I'm like, what are we talking? What are we doing here, guys? Why are we?
Have you learned nothing?
Just because it was a sleeper hit doesn't mean it's bad. It's fantastic. Yes, it has problems. It's been patched. It's brilliant. Planescape Torment, Fallout 2, like all these games, like they're brilliant. They're old and brilliant.
It will be a highlight of your life that you back on fondly forever.
Of your gaming experience, yes, for sure. How many times do we have to? Yeah, exactly. Who was the last person I chewed out about that? Gingaman wasn't here, so I couldn't chew him out. I'm trying to remember.
It was Cedar.
Yes, that was her. I actually was going to buy it for her, and then she left. I think she bought it herself, I hope. I can't remember. Anyway.
She died in the hospital repeatedly.
Oh. Don't mess with us, Persona 5 fans. We never actually played Persona. Yeah. They never played the other games, just the fifth one because it was popular. Or they bought it at least. Rockstar Games. Swear to fuck. Oh my god. Look, is this real or is this a joke?
No, it's a joke.
Okay,
I'm
fair.
pretty sure.
December 2nd, 2 days ago.
I'm pretty sure this is a fake tweet because you can make.
Yeah. If you get the
Oh
And
god, no!
this-
I only now remember the chapters where they put Casca's soul mind back together. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Oh god! Oh god!
Yeah,
Oh
that
fucking god! That was so metaphor heavy. It was. Oh god! Ah!
All right. Well then, I think that's enough for tonight. I gotta go do some work, and then I gotta work out, and I gotta go to sleep. No, there's no time. There's no time. I have no time for anything fun. This month is gonna be brutal for everyone. So
I think we might do. We might actually slow down the videos. We should, because there will be a lot of people busy with the holiday season.
we'll try our best. We'll see what we can do.
We'll
but
see what happens.
yeah.
So here we are already too busy. Like there's the Chester in the fridge that will be made. There's still a lot of Christmas
There's also the
decoration
one-
that need to be put here in my house. Like the tree is done, but there's a lot of things to place. Like we have some socks here, and we need to find some way to place them on the wall, because the wall is actually not actually that good. It's quite old, and trying to place I don't know, the nail. Try to place a nail on the wall will not work. So we try to find a way to do the right way.
Okay. Anyway, good stuff. Thank you guys. I was glad that this was not a weird sexual interpretation or whatever. It was just her.
Yet, because there is the next one.
It was just her weird theory of how good writing should work. Peak writing
I
is.
don't think she had a theory.
She called
She only had accusations.
She called an idea for writing peak, which is like, okay, that's not writing per se. That's a way to write, I suppose.
She couldn't even articulate her feelings.
Yeah. Well, we gave her 10 minutes. I think that was enough. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I'm busy. I gotta go, but good night. Have a good one. We'll talk to you.